one. Just one more victory. The Braves' ultimate goal has been within their grasp before, but their dreams evaporated in both the 1991 and 1992 World Series. Watching the Minnesota Twins and Toronto Blue Jays celebrate the fulfillment of their dreams has left a residue of disappointment and frustration for Atlanta's veterans. Tonight, they are but a single win away from glory and vindication. In his first World Series, baseball's best pitcher, Greg Maddux, is poised and ready for the clincher after dominating the Cleveland Indians in Game 1. The Indians, who have nearly erased lost decades of futility while stirring memories of past heroes, turn to Orel Hershiser, who pitched masterfully for 6 innings in Game 1 before yielding to the Braves and Maddux. Can he stop the Braves tonight to give the Indians new life? Or can the Braves win and forever be called champions? Game 5 of the World Series is next. Welcome to Cleveland, where the temperature is in the lower 50s. A couple of hours ago, we had rain showers. Neither team took batting practice, but the skies right now have cleared. The game will start on time. The crowd still filing into Jacobs Field for Game 5 of the World Series between the Atlanta Braves and the Cleveland Indians, with the Braves leading in the series 3-1. And welcome back to Cleveland, everyone. I'm Al Michaels, soon to be joined by Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver. The Atlanta Braves moved south in 1966, so they conclude their 30th season. They have yet to win a world title in the South. The last time this team won a world championship was 1957 when they were the Milwaukee Braves. Will tonight be the night? The Cleveland Indians have not won a world title since 1948. And they are faced with the very daunting task of not only winning tonight and beating the premier pitcher in baseball, Greg Maddux, but then going to Atlanta and having to erase a 3-1 deficit, with games 6 and 7 taking place Saturday and Sunday if necessary. For the Braves, a lot of frustration, as we just talked about at the very top of the show. In 1991, they lost a 7-game World Series to Minnesota. Then in 1992, they lost in 6 to Toronto. In 93, they won the West and lost in the League Championship Series to Philadelphia. A guy who was there for all of those series and is here now is with Leslie Visser.
Al, the Atlanta Braves couldn't ask for much better scenario than 3-1 lead with Greg Maddux on the mound, but this man has been close before. Mark Lemke, in 91, you won 7 games, 92, 6 games. What gives you more confidence this time?
Well, you know, I don't think anything really does, because I think after you've been through it a couple of times, you say, hey, you know, anything can happen. We've been in good positions before, and we've had what we thought was our best possible scenario before. So, you know, we're happy to be in this position because this is what we wanted. I mean, especially after losing the game the other night, we wanted to get back on top and have this scenario going into Game 5 here and have Greg Maddux on the mound for us.
How did you handle those losses before, and does it make this one make you a little more cautious?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they're tough. They're all tough, and any game you play here is going to be tough. You look at the competition you're up against. You just look at the World Series in general. It's never easy. So nobody's yet prepared to count their chickens before their hats.
Their ring. What about in the field? You've been almost flawless, but does this weather affect you?
Oh, it's tough to field in cold weather. It's tough to do a lot. It's tough to play this game in cold weather. I mean, I think it's, you know, it's the boys of summer, so the game was meant to be played in the summertime, not now. But yeah, it feels like you should have the shoulder pads and the helmet on right about now.
Great. Well, maybe be going home with the championship. Thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Back to you, Al.
Okay, Leslie, one of the big reasons, of course, the Braves are up 3-1 pitching. Consider this: the Cleveland Indians during the regular season collectively hit .291, highest mark in the majors in 45 years. In the World Series, the Indians are batting .190, but a guy who is holding his own, the leadoff hitter for the Indians, is with John Saunders.
All right, thanks a lot. Here now with center fielder Kenny Lofton. And Kenny, you're down 3-1, but your club still has to feel, I mean, you've lost a couple of those games by 1 run. You very easily could be up 3-1.
Yeah, that's what it is. We have the attitude, we can go out there and try to win the game today because we had a chance to win, both those games. The ones we lost by 1 run, and we feel that if we go out there and do our job today, anything can happen.
When you take a look at Greg Maddux, the team definitely struggled against him the first time out. He was masterful, allowing only a couple of hits. Is there a different approach to how you guys feel approaching him in the second time?
It's a different approach because you've seen him before. It's the first time a lot of us have seen him before, so it's kind of tough seeing a pitcher for the first time and expect to do well off of him. And that's what happened the first game. We didn't have an idea, what he's throwing, how his ball was moving. Now we have a great idea.
All right, Kenny, good luck in game number 5, and perhaps we'll see you for game number 6 back in Atlanta. Right now, let's go back up to Al.
Okay, John, and we'll return with coverage of the 1995 World Series after this from our ABC stations.
Friday on an all-new TGIF, can Urkel charm an overprotective parent?
You look familiar.
A lot of people do say I look like Denzel Washington.
Family Matters. Then when Topanga lets Corey go to a party,
I like you.
will Corey fall prey to another girl's lure?
Get out.
Boy Meets World, and JT hires the model maid.
Are you out of your mind?
Step by step.
So hard to find good help.
Then it's Halloween and Mark's haunting the hood.
What you supposed to be, the ghost of Patti LaBelle?
It's a real howl on Coop, Friday on TGIF.
It's like he has a hold on me.
For Carla and Tess,
He's not like anyone I'd ever imagined myself with.
he seemed like the perfect lover.
There's something that's not quite right about him. There's something underneath the surface that he's hiding.
Then one of them became a victim.
I tried to warn you. I told you he was dangerous.
Pierce Brosnan, Jo Beth Williams, and Virginia Madsen. Victim of Love.
A Channel 7 movie special, tonight at 9.
More room. More power. More luxury. More Civic. For less than you think. Ask your Honda dealer about the full line of new Civics. He'll tell you more.
Tell me how to select a refrigerator. Never. Oh, right then. Tell me how to select a lawyer.
There is an easier way to get information. The Quick Tips Information Service. Just look up your heading, call the local number, then dial the code.
If you can't settle a dispute with a sword fight, select a lawyer who...
Quick Tips Information.
Amazing.
It is amazing what you can do with the Everything pages from GTE.
Jeopardy tomorrow night at 7, only on Channel 7.
Already a big tourist attraction in Cleveland, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum. A lot of great exhibits, including the original manuscript, the original lyrics to Life's Been Good. Joe Walsh, a member of the Eagles in 1977, penned it at that time. Why is that significant? Well, here's the PA announcer, Mark Tromba.
And now to honor America, please welcome a member of the Eagles and Cleveland's own Joe Walsh for the singing of tonight's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Cleveland's own Joe Walsh with the anthem as Atlanta's own Greg Maddux loosens up for the start of Game 5.
When I get a headache, I just want it gone. But not with Tylenol. 2 Advil work better on tough pain, and not with Excedrin. That's aspirin with the ingredient in Tylenol and caffeine. I don't want that. I'll go with Advil.
Advanced medicine for pain.
You've always made a great team. Together growing, dreaming, caring, and sharing the rewards along the way. Park Avenue. For the comfort, for the luxury, for the quality. Congratulations, you've earned it. Buick Park Avenue.
Let's face it, fire's the only way to cook a burger.
It's true.
Like you're stranded on a desert island. What do you want with you? A frying pan or a hibachi?
You gotta go hibachi.
It's no contest.
The great tasting flame broiled Whopper, just $2.99 with fries and a drink at Burger King.
My dandruff and itch are awful. I'll try anything. Denorex tingles. Head and Shoulders doesn't.
Both have effective dandruff medicine, but Denorex has something extra that tingles, feels fresh.
That's why I started using Denorex. No flakes, no itch.
Denorex, the serious dandruff shampoo.
This 1995 World Series game is brought to you by the makers of Advil.
And welcome back to Jacobs Field. A light mist, scattered showers forecast for later on, but the game ready to start on time as we get set for the 5th game of the World Series, the Atlanta Braves and the Cleveland Indians. Al Michaels back in Cleveland. I know one thing, the Atlanta Braves are back in Atlanta tomorrow. The question is, are the Cleveland Indians back there with them on an off day? We're about to find out. Tim McCarver, baseball fans always want to know when a team goes down 3-1, how often does it happen? How often can a team erase that deficit? How often have they done it in the World Series?
Well, Al, you mentioned the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm reminded of a line in a Neil Young song that it's better to burn out than fade away. And the Indians fans are hopeful that it doesn't happen to their Indians. But how tough is it going to be? Well, there have been 37 teams to take a 3-1 lead in the best of 7 series, and 5 times have teams come back to win it. As a matter of fact, I was on a Cardinals team in 1968 when the Tigers did it. Jim Palmer was on an Orioles team in 1979 when the Pirates did it. But a word of caution to Braves fans. Back in 1992, Atlanta had a 3-1 lead against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and it took a miracle hit by Francisco Cabrera in the 9th inning of Game 7 to win it for the Braves. So is it possible? Absolutely. Tough, you bet.
Well, after that graphic, I'm going to stop hanging around with you guys. Jim Palmer, again, a classic pitching matchup as we saw Saturday night, Maddux and Hershiser tonight.
Yeah, 2 classic pitchers, Al, and they both pitched marvelous games. Orel Hershiser talked all summer and all season long about there's no true ace on this ball club. He said who's ever pitching that night for Cleveland is the ace. And tonight, I guess we're going to call him the ace of hearts. The Indians have had a marvelous year, 100 major league wins that led all the major league teams. They just played so great. They won the division, they won the championship, and if he doesn't pitch up to his capabilities, doesn't pitch up to his expectations, he's going to break a lot of hearts. For Bobby Cox, Atlanta Braves, who better than Greg Maddux to pitch tonight and try to win a World Series? 19-2, what an incredible year with a 1.63 ERA. And the last couple of years, he's been struggling in postseason, 1-2 with an ERA of over 8 runs a game. This year, 3-0. He's been perfect. So if he can paint another masterpiece like he did Saturday night in Atlanta, they are going to win this World Series.
And Bobby Cox also has Glavine and Smoltz in reserve if necessary. Let's get down to the field, get an update from Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Al, it's been a long long day for Chipper Jones. He got to the park about 2:30 this afternoon. He told me he didn't sleep all night. He said he was thinking about when Ted Turner came into the clubhouse about 3 weeks ago and told everyone, "I'd love to buy you guys something nice for your ring finger." Well, for general manager John Schuerholz, he's been on the other end of this advantage. Back in 1985, 10 years ago, he was the GM at Kansas City when they trailed 3-1, came back to beat St. Louis in 7 games. He told me a little while ago, "I am desperate to win this game." For more on the Indians, let's go to John Saunders.
Well, thanks a lot, Leslie. And you mentioned 1985, and Tim McCarver talked about 1979 when the Pittsburgh Pirates came back from down 3-1 to beat the Baltimore Orioles. Well, don't forget that 2 members of that Orioles team are here with the Cleveland Indians, Dennis Martinez and Eddie Murray. So he can definitely say to his teammates, "Hey, guys, I know it can be done because I've seen it done against me." As for how the team feels, well, it's guarded optimism for this team. They know the task ahead of them, but they also know if they win tonight, the pressure switches back to the Atlanta Braves. Right now, back up to Al.
All right, thank you, John, and we'll return with Game 5 of the 1995 World Series after this ABC News Brief and a word from our ABC stations.
An ABC News Brief, now from Washington, Sheila Cast.
Good evening. The Republican majority tonight pushed a lean federal budget through the House of Representatives. It would return many programs to the states and balance the federal budget in 7 years. More on the budget revolution that is bound to change your life later on Nightline. Yolanda Saldivar, the woman convicted earlier this week of murdering Tejano singer Selena, was sentenced today to life in prison. That's News Brief.
If you've been dreaming of a new Toyota,
wake up!
It's the Toyota Dream Clearance. Now's the time to get the Camry, Corolla, or Tercel you want. Every 95 Toyota has to go because the 96s are on the way. There's still a huge selection of 95 to choose from. So we've got special low financing, factory-to-dealer incentives, and incredible year-end leases. Hurry down to the Toyota Dream Clearance, because if you snooze, you lose.
I'm sold on you.
In business, you can't always count on having enough time. But you can count on AT&T, because only AT&T guarantees you a competitive price. Our 1-800-COMPARE Center will give you an immediate side-by-side price comparison. And we're so sure that our prices are competitive that if you don't agree, we'll give you 1 month's worth of long distance up to $500. These days, you can't count on much, but you can count on AT&T for the life of your business.
Over 100 Alpha Betas are now Ralphs. So while many things are better,
like prices,
some things are the same.
like me.
Same friendly faces, new lower prices.
This week at Ralph's, Zachy or Foster Farms chicken breast jumbo packs are just 99 cents a pound. And get 3 cans of Ralph's brand canned vegetables for only 99 cents. So come in and save. It's getting better all the time at Ralph's.
Business is about as predictable as the weather. You never know when a storm's going to hit.
And you need it when?
All you know is you have to respond. So UPS guarantees overnight delivery by 10:30 a.m. and even 8 a.m. And for problems that can't wait till tomorrow,
it's one chip that I need.
There's now same-day delivery. Only UPS offers you all these choices.
We're back in business.
But that's what planning for a rainy day is all about. UPS, moving at the speed of business.
Hey, LA, go for a spin tomorrow at 7:30 only on Channel 7.
Back at Jacobs Field, an unusual first pitch ceremony tonight. This was Friday at Cape Canaveral, the launching of the Space Shuttle Columbia, and then earlier today, Commander Ken Bowersox aboard.
Welcome aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia. We've been on orbit since last Friday conducting science experiments as part of the United States Microgravity Laboratory. But tonight, our thoughts are with the national pastime. To the Braves and to the Indians, good luck in Game 5 of the World Series. Now let's play ball.
And then they recreated the end of that throw here moments ago. Funny thing, it started out as a changeup and wound up as a split finger.
You've heard of heavy fastballs? That was weightless.
So unorthodox way to begin as we get set for the 5th game of the World Series, as Orel Hershiser goes to the mound 3-1 in this postseason and 7-1 lifetime in postseason play. And here is tonight's Budweiser Atlanta Braves starting lineup. Marquise Grissom in center, Luis Polonia in left, Chipper Jones the rookie at third, Fred McGriff having a terrific postseason at first, Dave Justice one of last night's stars in right, Ryan Klesko has homered in each of the last 2 games, the DH Mark Lemke at second, Charlie O'Brien, who normally catches Greg Maddux, is in there tonight, and Rafael Belliard, the shortstop, bats ninth. In the outfield for Cleveland, Bell, Lofton, and Ramirez. The infield, Tomei at third, Vizquel at short, Baerga at second, and Sorrento gets the start tonight at first base. Alomar catching, and Orel Hershiser on the mound for the Cleveland Indians.
37-year-old right-hander, and I'll tell you what, he is very close to what he was in 1988 when he won the Cy Young Award, went 23-8. Shoulder surgery in 1991. His shoulder seems to have gotten a lot stronger, a lot looser. Velocity is back. Snap on the curveball. And on Saturday night, pitched a marvelous game, made about 2 or 3 mistakes. Fastball in the 2nd inning to McGriff. He hit a home run, and back-to-back walks in the 7th. Eventually, those were the 2nd and 3rd, the winning run.
Marquise Grissom. Outstanding series, outstanding postseason. He's 7 for 17 in the 4 games thus far. So game 5 underway in Cleveland, and the first pitch is a strike. Grissom, Polonia, and Jones. Marquise, one of the missing pieces of the puzzle, along with Polonia, acquired during the season. Marquise starting the year on the Montreal roster, and then in their fire sale, they sent Grissom away, and they sent Ken Hill away to St. Louis, and eventually he wound up with Cleveland. Strike 2, 1-2.
I'll tell you, the middle of the plate is going to be very lonely tonight with both pitchers. They do not throw the ball over the fat part of the plate.
Not if they can help it.
No.
Crowd still filing in, and the pitch is hit right back to the mound. 1 away. That'll bring up Luis Polonia.
Number 17, Luis Polonia.
Polonia, who came over from the Yankees, and we talked about it last night when Darryl Strawberry was signed by the Yankees. Polonia became the odd man out and was an instrumental factor in the victory yesterday. That's a little squibber. Hershiser takes care of this one underhanded. So 2 1-3s in the scorebook, and up comes Chipper Jones.
And speaking of odd men out in the Yankees, it looks like Buck Showalter, well, he was offered the job by George Steinbrenner, a 2-year deal, but he did not accept it, and he's the odd man out.
Well, probably very briefly. A lot of rumors that he will go and manage the Tigers. Would not be surprised with that move.
Chipper Jones takes a strike. Frank Pulley, a National League umpire, is back of the plate tonight. And that's hit down the line in left field and into the corner, and a fair ball. Albert Bell plays the carom, but Chipper Jones is in at second with a double. His 4th hit of the World Series.
You know, they were talking to Chipper Jones after seeing Hershiser in game 1 on Saturday night, what kind of pitcher he is, and he said he likes to stay away. Good movement, likes to keep the ball down. This time he gets it up. Jones looking away, and we've seen him many times during the postseason go that way. And he's down at second base in scoring position with a double.
Jones now with 18 hits in this, the 13th postseason game for Atlanta. Now McGriff. And as was the case last night, first base open, McGriff the hot man. Justice has been cooler, but last night Justice was the guy who really got it done, turning a 2-1 game into a 4-1 game.
As far as Justice was concerned last night, the third time was a charm. He failed the first 2 times, stranding runners in the first and third, 2 runners aboard in the first and third, and then he came through against Ossenmacher on the hanging curveball to make it 4-1.
Two and one.
And I think we'll see Worrell doing exactly what Kenny Hill did, is said, listen, I'm going to make my pitch. I'm not really going to pitch around him. I'm just going to make good pitches. If I don't make that pitch, I'll gamble a little bit and pitch to Justice.
Two out, Jones at second, and the 2-1 pitch, a strike, 2-2. One of the things Mike Hargrove was a little concerned about before the game, the Indians manager said a National League umpire working with Maddox. But the interesting irony here is that the National League umpire has also seen most of Hershiser's career as well. So Frank Pulley familiar with very much with both of them. And it's chopped foul at the plate. Worrell had the look of almost soaking in the atmosphere, didn't he? He's one of the few guys who could, too, in this situation. Check swing, no. Jim McKeon, the third base umpire.
Well, that brings up an interesting point, because when he pitched up in Seattle, it's 57,000. As we take a look, does he go? Real close. You're an Indian fan, you want strike 3, and if you're a Brave fan, you think he held up. That's all that matters. Again, Jim McKeon said no swing.
Struck him out. Braves waste a double by Jones after a half. Atlanta nothing. The Indians coming up.
Let me guess. One side of you craves easy chair comfort, while the other side itches for performance, right? Well, meet Buick Regal with its famous 3800 V6 engine and Grand Touring suspension. Add to that an all-new interior with body-sensitive seats. And finally, there's a car for the two of you. Buick Regal.
Sunday, November 5th. Get ready for the ride of your life with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Rosanna Arquette in Nowhere to Run. Parental discretion advised.
The master craftsman on the mound as Greg Maddux loosens up. 19-2 and a 1.63 ERA during the regular season. Tonight's Budweiser Cleveland Indians starting lineup. Kenny Lofton, the igniter in center. Omar Vizquel bats second. The switch hitting by Erga hitting third. Albert Bell homered last night, left field. Eddie Murray, game-winning hit 2 nights ago. The DH. Jim Thome, the platooning third baseman, hit sixth. Manny Ramirez in right. Paul Sorrento, the start tonight at first base, and Sandy Alomar Jr. back of the plate.
We're going to bring back something that we had in game 1 to show you how Greg Maddux gets hitters out. The hitters refer to this as making X's on the corners. He can swing the breaking ball to the left-handed batter, freeze them, and then he can run the fastball away from left-handers. On the inside part of the plate, he can tail the fastball in. That's his 2-strike pitch, and he gets a lot of strikeouts there. And he can run the cutter in on the hands when he wants to jam a hitter. So Maddux, nobody makes X's on both sides of the plate better than this guy.
That plate was not quite drawn to scale, but you get the idea.
Yeah, right. I mean, I've been around the game 35 years. I'd like to think I know something about pitching. I've never seen anybody. I've seen guys with better stuff. I mean, we can see Randy Johnson, but nobody has pitched to both sides of the plate better than the really young man at 29, Greg Maddux.
Here's Kenny Lofton, and the pitch in there for a strike, 0-1.
Now, Charlie Manuel, the hitting instructor, said we've seen him, we've studied tape. Lofton talked about it too. And he said basically you cannot try to protect this whole plate early in the count against Maddux. They said, gee, we're going to make him throw strikes. We threw so many strikes, they found themselves 1-2, 0-2.
Yes, and what you're saying is instead of looking for a pitch, look location. Take the outside part of the plate away from him, look inside, or take the inside part of the plate from him and look outside.
Chopped foul by Lofton, 2-2.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. And again, Charlie saying, listen, he changes speeds real well, but if we try to protect the whole plate, which was what hitting with 2 strikes is all about, we don't have a chance.
Yeah, he'll have you diving all over the place.
Which is exactly what he did in game 1. And just notice how quickly he will pitch. Maybe 10 seconds, 12 seconds between pitches.
Jim, will the Indians have any more of an advantage having seen Maddux just 5 nights ago?
Well, I think that's an advantage, but because I always felt back-to-back games against a good hitting ball club, and this is the team that led the majors in runs scored and batting average, even though they are only hitting 190, is very difficult. But Maddux, I don't know. He's that good.
2-2 to Lofton is popped up. Shallow right field. Justice comes racing in with Grissom, and it is Justice because he is taller making the catch. So 1 down, and Vizquel coming up. The outfield tonight, Polonia, Grissom, and Justice. The infield of Jones, Belliard, Lemke, and McGriff. Charlie O'Brien, I mentioned before, catches Maddux almost every time Greg goes out. And Maddux on the mound. Omar Vizquel, 3 for 17 in the World Series. He's hitting only 135 overall in postseason play, but he has driven in 7 runs, and he's been sensational in the field. 2-0. Talking to Mike Hargrove before the game, Tim asked him, will you be more aggressive on the bases tonight? Mike said, we just have to get people on the bases.
Yeah. Well, the table setters, I mean, Lofton with over 50 steals, Vizquel with 29. If they get on, they're going to be running. It's the only thing that Maddux does not do well. And that's hold runners on. And you can see his basic premise of pitching is to get ahead of the hitters. He's going to try to throw the first pitch to every batter over. He didn't do it to Vizquel, and this one way down and in runs to count to 3 balls and 1 strike, and there's your walk.
That's a major rally against Maddux. He did not walk a man the other night. A 1-out walk here, and now Baerga comes up.
I think the point that both Timmy and I tried to make, Al, on Saturday was he makes you beat him. You usually don't get free passes. He once went 51 consecutive innings this year without walking somebody. So you're right, a bonus.
Carlos Baerga playing with an air cast on his ankle. Hobbled off the field at the end of game 1, but he's played through it. Walks per 9 innings this season, less than 1 per 9 innings for Maddux. Unbelievable.
And that's the best of his career, too.
That's one of those stats when you look at it, you have to look at who was second, and you saw Shane Reynolds of Houston was second, walking 1 3/4 men per game, with Maddux at less than 1. That's kind of Gretzky-izing the record book is what it amounts to. There goes Vizquel, and it's fisted to the right side, slowly hit. Lemke recovers to throw him out. Mark Lemke was moving over toward the bag, had time though to come back and throw out Baerga as Vizquel advances.
Well, Cleveland had the right guy covering Mark Lemke, but Baerga didn't hit it hard enough. He was jammed by Maddox. A hit-and-run play. Now watch Lemke go toward the bag with Vizquel running, but because the ball wasn't hit sharply enough, Lemke has a chance to recover and throw him out.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of what you were talking about last night. If you send a runner, start him, how you move the middle infielders.
Now Albert Bell hasn't hit very much through postseason, but he's been very selective. He has walked 11 times. Lemke ducks in at second, and Maddox fires back there.
Well, Albert last night with his first extra base hit, and that was a home run right down the right field line. Good hitting, you have to adjust. He stood well off the plate early in this World Series, especially against Maddox. He has moved up. He's a little bit closer.
And he hits it in the air down the right field line and into the corner, and just like last night, gone. Same spot.
We talked about taking half of the plate away from Maddox. Bell went up there, he looked away, he got it away, and hit it away. A long way.
Yeah, this is a ball in game one he doesn't touch. He couldn't reach it. So right out, it is more difficult. Hitters adjust.
That was a replay of his home run last night. Right field, just over the fence. Murray hits it foul.
Even though last night Avery threw him a changeup, last night was a changeup to tie it, a solo home run to right field, and we'll have another look at it.
Talk about hitting the same target.
Yeah. Tonight was a fastball from Maddox.
Hello. Ooh, and Frank Pulley steps in between, and now both dugouts will empty.
Charlie O'Brien arguing with Eddie Murray. They used to be teammates with the Mets, but how ridiculous is that? I mean, that's part of pitching. You come up and in on guys, not necessarily because they hit a home run, but you remember in the American League, that stuff doesn't happen. In the National League, it's more part of an everyday day at the office. As Hershiser and Maddox are very calm in that whole thing.
Two choir boys in the middle of a riot.
An overreaction by Eddie Murray, in my judgment.
Well, I'll tell you what, it does tell you something about Maddox and his competitiveness. Bell hits the home run. Murray had a home run swing on the first pitch. They're getting a little bit too comfortable, and this is a guy that when he pitched for the Cubs, he said, what is the knockdown sign? He looks like a guy that wants to sell you insurance, but he means business, and this is part of pitching.
Sometimes you may have to buy that insurance from him.
I tell you, it might be medical insurance, too. That's just part of pitching. That's the way the game is played, and Eddie Murray's been around long enough to know that. He's 2 for 14 in the World Series. He's pointing at his head, but the way you hit guys is you throw it behind them. You throw it at their head, everybody gets out of the way of those pitches.
And with the crowd raucously chanting Eddie, Eddie, the pitch inside, ball 2, 2-1.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, not do you ever have to worry about getting the crowd involved here at Jacobs Field, but the home run and that knockdown pitch, that's going to last 6 or 7 innings.
2-2.
I think Eddie just trying to intimidate Maddox to try to keep him out of there. Maddox came right back in there and then threw the changeup away.
Bell's homer has made it 2-0. 2 out, bases empty. Oof. Maddox ready to move toward the dugout.
Well, you remember that tailing fastball that we talked about? His strikeout pitch. Bobby Cox wanted it.
I got to think it's high, Timmy. I mean, that's the only reason you call that ball.
Yeah, that ball had the plate, but it could have been called high.
Next year, it's a strike. Hit foul. It's supposed to be a strike anyway.
Right.
I always thought so.
Hershiser staked to a 2-0 advantage. 2 out. Bases empty. Bottom of the first. Ball 4. Jim Thome, .314 during the regular season with 25 homers, 73 runs batted in.
I think by scoring early, what the Indians have done is given their hitters a chance to relax. You can almost see the tenseness in their neck muscles and their face muscles. The hands are gripping the bat too tightly. And that home run by Albert Bell perhaps gave the Indians hitters a chance to relax a little bit. That's the advantage of scoring early.
How unusual is this start for Maddox? In the last 2 seasons, only twice has he allowed as many as 2 runs in the first inning. And this will be his 23rd pitch of the first inning.
Well, as good as he is in this ballpark over the course of a year that is hitter friendly, it would be tough to have a 1.63 ERA with a designated hitter, an extra hitter. Because this park plays very, very small.
0-1 to Thome is fisted foul off to the left. 0-2.
You may remember in game 1 when Orel Hershiser came up and in to David Justice. I think it was his first time up. But it was on an 0-2 pitch. And because the National League hitters see a lot of those types of pitches, Justice didn't react. But Murray did, because in the American League, guys don't come in as much.
Up high, snap throw to first base, and they pick him off. Eddie Murray is picked off. Nice scoop at first base by McGriff. And on a snap throw to first base by O'Brien. The other night, it was Lopez. And Eddie picked off, but the Indians take the lead in the first, 2-0.
When was the last time you played in the rain? Let your hair go wild. Flexed your muscles to the world. Stayed up past your bedtime. When was the last time you really had fun in a car? Riviera by Buick. Go ahead. Express yourself.
This is about how you go to sleep one day, running your business the same way you always have, and wake up the next morning with things like email, voicemail, PCs, pages, a new communications network for free. It's not a fairy tale, a myth, or a parable. This is about how things can really happen. This is about opening your eyes instead of closing them, and making a call instead of a wish. Network MCI, that's how.
Sunday, we're putting the bite on having a good time, so get into the groove and crash our party, because you'll jump for joy when you catch 1 full hour of America's funniest videos Sunday.
Indians on top on the 2-run homer by Albert Bell. We just saw O'Brien throw to McGriff to nab Murray, trying to get back to first.
Well, I got to think that Eddie at 39, who doesn't run as well as he used to, maybe trying to get a big lead, but a very, very heads-up play to get Maddox out of the first inning.
And we've seen this before the other night, the second game in Atlanta with Javi Lopez back at the plate. Manny Ramirez representing the tying run, 8th inning. Thrown out at first.
Fastball's up and in, and all you have to do is go behind the left-handed batters. And O'Brien and Lopez have done it beautifully in this series. Well, that means a lot. I mean, I know it's early in the game, but you have a home run hitter at the plate, and you put him right back in his position.
Justice fouls it away, 0-1. Justice, Klesko, and Lemke, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the second inning. Maddox, after yielding the 2-run homer, watches as it's fouled off to the right. 0-2.
Well, I can imagine what's going through his mind. John Smoltz, his fellow starter, says, listen, he comes back and says, I don't have anything when he's pitching no-hitters and shutouts. But he is a very analytical guy. And he's talking to Leo Mazzoni, and they're discussing what happened in that first inning. Because you don't see him get behind in the count, throw home runs very often, or walk guys very often.
Especially 2 walks in 1 inning.
Ball 1-2. Hershiser the other night pitched masterfully through 6. Then in the 7th inning, he walked 2 men. Mark Wiley, the pitching coach, went to the mound to talk things over with him. Oral says, I've lost my release point. I'm out of the game. Strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Hershiser. He's fanned 2 in an inning in the 3rd. Klesko coming up. And tonight's World Series Game 5 is being brought to you by Buick and your local dealers. Remember, Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. Gillette Sensor XL and the Gillette Series. Gillette, the best a man can get. And Budweiser, official sponsor of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team. This Bud's for you. Klesko at the plate. He's homered in each of the last 2 games. A strike here, 0-1.
Klesko's opened up a little bit more than he has been through the first 4 games. He's got that right foot toward first base a little bit more. Prior to this at bat, he was about even.
Easy grounder to Baerga. 2 up and 2 down, and that will bring up Lemke. Jim, how unusual did you find it that Oral in that situation on Saturday night said to Wiley, I'm done?
Pretty unusual, but again, here's a guy at 37. Mike Hargrove said, I'm going to protect you, but the bottom line is that apparently Dennis Martinez and Oral all year long have been telling them, Dennis at 40, Oral at 37 when they're cooked. And I talked to him between games, and he said, listen, I just didn't think I could throw the ball over. Very unusual, but you don't see it happen too often, especially in a World Series.
Martinez charting tonight, hoping that his season extends to Saturday. He'd start Game 6.
And I'll tell you what, as you look at Denny, Oral understands after getting 2 runs off Maddox that momentum. You better keep it. Get a quick inning. He's got 2 outs here, and let your guys come back up and take their licks.
Fouled away, and the count 1-2.
I mean, it seems like such a small thing, but how many times in the course of a season your teams get you some runs, you go right back out there, you walk the first guy. This guy knows better. And you can see right now he's got the fans. They are in this game.
Rising as 1 at Jacobs Field. 1-2 the count, 2 out, bases empty. It will be a 1-2-3 inning. Omar. Ended 1.5. Cleveland 2, Atlanta nothing.
The sophisticated material that's used to make the cockpit canopy of the F-16 fighter shatter-resistant is the same material we use to make the headlamp covers on the Aurora. So you can imagine how advanced the rest of the car is. Aurora by Oldsmobile. It's your money.
Inside every one of us is an athlete with a thirst for the game going on around us. It's life. And if you play hard at it, you get thirsty. That's why we make Gatorade. Hey, life is a sport. Drink it up.
The men and women of General Motors made a commitment to always put our customers first. It's a commitment we renew with every car and truck we sell. This year at GM, we're proud to say we reached a milestone. General Motors is rated highest in satisfaction right from the start. In the 1995 J.D. Power & Associates New Vehicle Sales Satisfaction Study.
Raquel Welch has the scoop.
Clark Kent is Superman.
Will her kryptonite kiss destroy the Man of Steel? Sunday on ABC. It's Lois and Clark.
Cleveland trying to stay alive. The Braves trying to win the World Series. 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. How unusual was that first inning for Maddox? The last time he gave up 2 walks and a homer in a first inning, 1990. Pitching for the Cubs.
Well, you know, he said he wasn't worried about the physical part about pitching tonight. He said he was worried about controlling his emotions. And this guy is the master of doing that, at least during the regular season and so far here in the postseason.
Tomei to lead off. He was left at the plate when Murray was picked off to end the first inning. Tomei, Ramirez, and Sorrento, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. One of the reasons Maddox, among other things, is a Gold Glove pitcher. 1 out.
Yeah, 5 times, Al, and most people will tell you he's going to win his 6th. Nobody better in the National League. Now watch the concentration, because when you release the ball, you become a defensive player. Look how balanced he is. I mean, how many times during this World Series have we seen, especially last night, balls going into center field for base hits to lead off an inning? And that time and out.
He's balanced, but it doesn't necessarily take good balance to be a good pitcher. Some of the great pitchers of all time had some of the worst follow-throughs. Jim Bunning, Bob Gibson. Sandy Koufax, of course, was almost perfect in every regard. But a lot of people talk about that follow-through. Maddox has a terrific follow-through, but not a lot of power pitchers necessarily have good follow-through.
But they don't also win Gold Gloves. I mean, some have, but they don't field their position quite as well. I mean, I know a guy probably watching this game sitting down in Sailfish Point, Jim Cott. I mean, there was a power pitcher early in his career, but the best fielder I ever saw, because he was prepared to catch the ball the minute he released it.
How can you say that? He only won 16 Gold Gloves.
He won one year when he missed most of the year, and he should have.
2-1 the count on Ramirez.
Greg Maddux says it's very simple. He said, if I have good mechanics, the ball ought to go where I want to throw it. Look how quiet his front shoulder is. It's very much like a steering wheel, the front shoulder of a pitcher. It takes you where you want to go.
One out, bases empty. Sorrento on deck, bottom of the second. Indians leading 2-0. Full count. Ramirez has had a weird postseason. He's hit only 200. He has 3 home runs, but they have accounted for all of his runs batted in. Bobby Cox managing in the World Series for the 3rd time in 5 years. Mike Hargrove managing in postseason for the first time ever. And Ramirez is gone. First strikeout for Maddox. 2 down, and Sorrento comes up.
Well, I think all the Atlanta pitchers, they're very close-knit, and what Maddux is trying to do is he makes a perfect pitch 3-2 on the inside part of the plate, is do what Steve Avery did last night, which is make the adjustments. Struggling with his control, still not afraid to make the perfect pitch 3-2.
Strike one to Sorrento. How great do you think Maddux must be at darts?
Well, he's a good golfer, good at Nintendo. They said he doesn't like to lose at anything.
Monopoly.
Yeah.
Well, he's monopolized the National League as far as all the pitching awards. That's for sure.
1-2.
Mentioned Mike Hargrove in his first World Series as a manager. Here's a guy who played 1,666 games as a player and finally reaches postseason play as a manager.
Spent about half his career with Texas and most of the rest of his career with Cleveland, and a little bit of San Diego thrown in for half a year. And down goes Sorrento. He strikes out looking, and we've played two with Cleveland leading Atlanta 2-0.
Time marches on. And if you haven't planned for your retirement, you're losing ground. If you're like most Americans, you probably haven't saved enough, long enough, to retire on solid ground. That's why there's Sun America. Ask your financial advisor about Sun America today. Because the only thing that goes faster than money is time. Look to the sun. Sun America.
Daytime running lamps have the potential to save lives. A car may pull out in front of you because they didn't see you. If you have your daytime running lamps on, the numbers show that you get a better chance of being seen. How could you get them? Well, they're available on some GM vehicles now. But what's handy about the daytime running lamp feature is that it's something that can be fitted to older cars. People can go to the GM dealer and get one. That's why we put DRLs into kits. It's a great thing. And the more vehicles we get it on, the better off we're all going to be, the safer we're all going to be.
Keith told us that he would never, ever get a chance to meet Ken Griffey, and Make-A-Wish has granted that for him.
Hi. Hi. How are you? This may be the only wish that he ever has, and it's like, yeah, I've never turned anyone down, and I won't, because you never know how long they have.
Anything you want to know?
Keith said the only thing I want from you is a bat, and he wanted to tell us those are the only two things that he wanted. It's an experience that you can't forget.
Is this your favorite player right here?
Yes.
You picked a good one.
Two new Beatles songs, the most anticipated event in 30 years, an event no one thought would ever happen. The Beatles Anthology, November 19th.
Final game of the season at Jacobs Field, no matter what. The question is, will there be another game in Atlanta tomorrow, an off day if the series is extended? The sixth game will be played on Saturday and the seventh game on Sunday night. Two-run homer by Albert Bell in the first inning. Cleveland on top. We go to the third inning. Charlie O'Brien, the Atlanta catcher, to lead off. Then Belliard, and then the top of the order, Marquise Grissom. Hershiser spent his whole career with the Dodgers. He was signed by the Dodgers in '79, and he was hurt. I mean, he was emotionally hurt when the Dodgers said, well, that's it. And he looked around. He had a couple of choices, and he felt Cleveland would be the best opportunity to play in postseason, and it turned out to be the right choice. The question now is, what will Orel do next year? And he's been kind of mumbling a little bit about maybe even retiring.
Well, I believed in talking to John Hort, the general managers, they have an option on his services if he's going to play. And after going 16-6, 11-2 to the last part of the season, the second half, I got to assume they want him back if he's going to pitch again next year.
Hit foul into the dugout. 2-2.
Hershiser had a long talk with the general manager of the Dodgers, Fred Clare, and Fred said, Orel, I know how upset you are. I know how hurt you are about the Dodgers, but let me reassure you that we won't say anything publicly about your feelings toward the Dodgers, and we think it would be smart if you didn't, and neither has, to both of their credits.
It's very difficult for an organization when a player, and the pitcher in Hershiser's case, has done so much for that organization and then leaves. But this is a day of free agency, and loyalty on the ball club's part and the players' part does not exist like it used to.
One of the reasons he was expendable was that the Dodgers knew they were going to sign Hideo Nomo and pay him a lot of money up front.
$1 million bonus.
3-2 stroked foul into the seats.
Yeah, fate plays such a major part sometimes in where you end up or how you perform. But Mark Wiley, the pitching coach last year, the advanced scout for the Cleveland Indians, and he Dodgers one of his teams, and they said, who better, a veteran guy, to come over here along with Dennis Martinez and some of their younger pitchers, give them innings. But never ever did Mark think, until Hershiser came back with that velocity, that he was going to be the ace of the staff, and that's how that evolved.
3-2. Hit to the hole, backhanded by Vizquel, throws him out. One down, and Rafael Belliard comes up, the Goodyear Blimp Spirit of Akron, with Mark Kennett at the controls tonight, hovering high above Jacobs Field. It's a pleasant evening. The temperature is in the low 50s. I mentioned at the very top some rain showers, light rain, about 2 hours prior to game time, so neither team took batting practice tonight. Ball 1 to Belliard.
Yeah, I think that's the major concern if you're either Mike Hargrove, Bobby Cox, for a lot of reasons. If you're Hershiser or Maddox, your control pitcher, if it gets wet, if it starts sprinkling, that will affect your control. That front foot is really your control foot's where you land.
2-0. The all-time worst-case scenario for Atlanta would be a rain out or a lengthy delay in a tie game, let's say, in a situation where you have Maddox going, and because Bobby Cox opted to pitch Maddox tonight and not last night, you probably won't have him available to start game 7 if necessary. 2-2. But then again, if you think about it, if it were to rain tonight, let's say in the next couple of innings, and you did go to a 7th game, you'd have to play the 5th game tomorrow, and Maddox could conceivably start.
Well, it depends on how deep in the game when it rains. That's the key to that deal.
2-2, got him swinging. Belliard becomes strikeout victim number 3, and that will bring up Grissom.
Al, think if you're an Atlanta Braves fan now, certainly they down in Atlanta, they must have mixed emotions. I mean, you'd prefer after this long dry spell to see them clinch in Atlanta, but you don't want to take the chance of, if they lose this game tonight, to have a rerun of 1992 and put all the pressure on. We talked about the Pirates winning games 5 and 6, and then only a hit by Francisco Cabrera. Not too sure that town can take another game like Game 7 in the 1992 NLCS.
We talked about it during Game 1. The city of Atlanta has never had a team win a professional sports championship while based in Atlanta. The Braves, of course, won the title in Milwaukee. And the Atlanta Hawks went to an NBA Finals as the St. Louis Hawks, though they've never won a league title in Atlanta. The hockey team, the Flames, left after a few seasons, and the Falcons have never been to the Super Bowl, much less won one. 2-1. The totals for Atlanta, if you added up what we would call team seasons, in other words, the Braves have been around for 30 seasons and the Falcons have been around for 30 seasons, there would be 93 team seasons without a championship.
Well, you saw right there, that 2-1 pitch, what Hershiser's all about since his arm got better, his movement. That ball ran about a foot. That ball starts in the middle of the plate, just it keeps coming in. Grissom thinks it's going to be down the middle, and if he hit that ball, he probably would have broke his bat.
Crowd imploring Hershiser for strikeout number 4, and instead it's lifted to right field. It's as good as a strikeout as it's called in by Ramirez. Out in order go the Braves. 2-0 Cleveland.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. Like a rock.
Gillette's revolutionary clear gel antiperspirant. Not a stick, a soft gel that goes through underarm hair to the skin surface where wetness begins. For powerful protection, Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant.
Now you can own Batman Forever on video.
Riddle me this, riddle me that.
Who will be the first to bring home the bat on October 31st? Own Batman Forever.
Unbeaten Nebraska battles the Colorado Buffaloes. Florida tackles SEC rival Georgia. Or regional action from the Pac-10 and Big Ten. Saturday on ABC's College Football.
Gorgeous shot from the blimp of Jacobs Field in downtown Cleveland. Game 5 of the World Series. Saturday, there's the lineup. Halloween-based lineup here on ABC, the Jeff Foxworthy Show, maybe this time, and Saturday night at the movies, Hocus Pocus, and then Sunday night, assuming there's no Game 7, if there is, of course, you will see it right here. America's Funniest Home Videos, Lois and Clark and the Last Boy Scout, the ABC Sunday night movie, if the World Series doesn't go to a 7th game.
The Last Boy Scouts, it's like the biographies of tonight's starting pitchers.
That was a funny shot. Both benches and the bullpens compelled to empty. So you had about 60 guys milling around in the first inning, and the 2 pitchers just standing there and singing hymns. Alomar at the plate, 0-1 the count. Alomar, Lofton, and Vizquel. Sandy hit 300 during the regular season. Chop toward the middle. Belliard on the run to throw him out. 1 away, and that will bring up Kenny Lofton. Beating the Aces. Pitchers beaten by eventual world champions who trailed in the series 3-1. Walter Johnson, the great Walter Johnson, beaten by the Pirates in 25. Warren Spahn by the Yankees in 58. Bob Gibson by the Tigers in 68. A fellow by the name of Palmer by the Pirates in 79 in Game 6. And John Tudor, even though I wouldn't put him with the other 4 on that list, John had a fantastic year in 85.
Yeah, you could that year.
Yes, you could. And he was beaten by the Kansas City Royals in the 7th game.
So I guess that's good company to be in.
You bet.
You got it, brother.
Lofton, strike. 10 years ago, and we were there. We did that World Series where Kansas City was down 3-1. It was a little different because they won the 5th game in St. Louis and then went home and won Games 6 and 7. That's lifted to right field, and Justice makes the catch. The 6th game of that series was the one in which Don Denkinger made that call to first base on George Jordan that led to a Kansas City win. The 7th game wound up 11-0 Kansas City. That was the game in which Joaquin Andujar precipitated a bench clearing incident by throwing at a batter, getting thrown out of the game. Whitey Herzog, managing St. Louis, got thrown out. And in the press conference after the game, the first question to Whitey was, how in the world does a manager get thrown out of the 7th game of the World Series? And Whitey, without missing a beat, said, I'd seen enough. The great Whitey. Leave it to Whitey. Honest to a fault. 1-1.
Key game also in that series was Danny Jackson's shutout in Game 5. Danny Jackson pitched a key shutout against Bobby Cox and the Toronto Blue Jays in the playoffs, and then came back to win Game 5 against the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. And that set the scene in Kansas City.
2-1 the count. 2 out, bases empty. And that's a strike, and the count 2-2. Vizquel walked in the first inning and then rode home on the Bell homer. And ball 3-2.
Yeah, Greg, just a little bit off, and Bobby Cox knows that. Of course, says, where's that pitch? And it's very tough. You know, this is a very emotional game. Tough to see from the bench.
And that stroke towards center field and dropping in for a base hit. So Vizquel, a 2-out single in the third inning, and Baerga coming up, and our crack crew headed by Curt Gowdy Jr. We talked about that Orta play 10 years ago. 6th game, 9th inning. Kansas City was trailing 1-0. The call by Denkinger at first base, safe.
Todd Worrell, the short reliever for the Cardinals.
And before that inning was done, Kansas City had rallied to win, and on they went the next night to their only world title. There's a connection between that series and this one. John Schuerholz was with Kansas City at that time. A really, I don't want to say unheralded executive. John gets a lot of acclaim, but John has been around a lot of winners, and he is now the general manager of the Atlanta Braves. As Baerga squibs one to the right side, Lemke charges and throws him out to retire the side. End of 3, 2-0 Cleveland. And back we come after this from our ABC stations.
Friday, if you're one of the millions who drive these minivans, could this happen to you in a crash? Is Chrysler doing enough to keep you safe? What you should know on 2020 Friday.
Hello, I'm your Pacific Bell spokesperson. Is your phone working?
Yes.
Perhaps I should just check.
Okay.
Oh, the dial tone. It's excellent. Okay, is there anything else I can help you out with? Trust your hedges only to a trained telecommunications expert?
The Pacific Bell Network. How will you use it?
Is it you, is it me?
Who's next?
If you've been dreaming of a new Toyota, wake up! It's the Toyota Dream Clearance. Now's the time to get a 4Runner T100 or that new Tacoma truck you want. Every 95 Toyota has to go because the 96s are on the way. There's still a huge selection of 95s to choose from. So we've got special low financing, factory-to-dealer incentives, and incredible year-end leases. Hurry down to the Toyota Dream Clearance, because if you snooze, you lose.
I'm sold on you. Victim of Love, tonight at 9 on Channel 7.
Jacobs Field in Cleveland. Al Michaels with Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver. Top of the 4th inning. Luis Polonia leads things off for Atlanta. Cleveland ahead 2-0 as Polonia takes outside. Ball 1. Polonia, Jones, and McGriff. Runs up to bunt. 1-1. Tomei and on the grass at third. One and two. Jones on deck. 2-2. Here we are 7 years later. Polonia faced Hershiser in the 1988 World Series. Orel with the Dodgers was the series MVP, and Luis with Oakland.
Hershiser, the MVP of the National League Championship Series and the World Series, starting and winning 2 complete games against Oakland.
And a relief outing beyond belief in the League Championship Series. The key performance there. Hit in the air to right field and deep and gone. Luis Polonia, who hit 1 home run all season long, homers here in the 4th inning to make it 2-1.
Well, you know, all the second guessers will say, how do you speed up a guy's bat by throwing him a hanging curveball? Well, your intentions, if you're Orel Hershiser, is not to do that.
Surely was flat, wasn't it?
Sure was. 2-2. You want to throw the good curveball. You want to throw it for a strike, middle of the plate, break it down over the outside part of the plate. And this ball really doesn't change plane at all. Hangs right out over the plate. The bat head that normally on a fastball would go to center or left gets out in front. You get your instant run.
A lot of people think every pitch that's hit out of the ballpark's a mistake. Nothing could be further from the truth, but that was.
You know it's a mistake when a guy's been in the majors 9 years and has 16 lifetime home runs and hits one out. Chipper Jones. Ball 2-1.
Yeah, see, when Chipper hits a home run, especially from this side, 23 on the year, left-handed, he hit 20. It's no mistake, because he could take it deep anywhere.
That's grounded to short. Picked by Vizquel. Throws him out. 1 away, and McGriff the batter. How did Orel respond to throwing that pitch and watching Polonia launch one?
That's a horrible look. You're a pitcher. You didn't have that look too many times.
I had it. I tell you, it's a horrible feeling. The look's worse than the feeling.
It's almost the ball going out is in direct proportion to how fast a pitcher snaps his head back to look at it.
Followed by an instant mutter.
Well, you know, that's if you're in the movie industry or the TV industry, what you do when the ball's halfway to the plate, you go, take 2, timeout. You know, I mean, you yell or you scream, but you can't do it.
You want your catcher to come up and interfere, right?
Exactly. Because you know it's going to be a home run swing, and Polonia delivered.
0-1 on McGriff. 1 out, base is empty. But he takes strike 2. Strike 3. Frank Pulley started to go back as if it was the 3rd out. He made the call. And Frank, you were caught. You got caught, Frank.
And look at that smile under the mask.
Frank trying to get us to go to a commercial. 2 out, Frank.
Well, I think, you know, he's still shocked that Polonia hit that home run, too.
Yeah, that's right.
Normal, every time Polonia hits a fly ball to right, it is an out.
Yeah, Pulley makes the call. Strike 3, and that's it, folks. I'm going to go back for a glass of water. Justice takes a strike.
Well, see, if you're consistent on the corners like Hershiser and Maddox have been and are, you're going to get those pitches. That pitch was outside to McGriff. Hershiser with the break, but the reason you get it, you're always there.
Comebacker. Orel throws him out, but a leadoff homer by Polonia halves the lead at the end of 3.5. 2-1 Cleveland.
Americans love their cars. And we love talking to other Americans who love their cars. Which explains why there are so many car clubs in this country. And more than any other Chevy car clubs. Maybe that's because more of these Americans trust Chevys. From the Camaro Club in Marietta, Georgia with 4 members, to the National Corvette Club with a membership of 10,000. It has a president, a vice president, a treasurer, and a business manager. Just like the one in Marietta.
an undercover sting or a squeeze play.
What kind of rabbi are you? Kind of rabbi who will wrap his payers around your throat.
You make the call on an all-new Blue. Viewer discretion advised.
Frank Pulley, the home plate umpire, between innings. Charlie O'Brien, the Atlanta catcher, coming out, and Charlie telling us before the game one last Friday that with Maddox on the mound, he tries everything he can to explain to the home plate umpire how his pitcher is going to work, inside, outside. Not only that Pulley does it, but exactly how Maddox will work.
Albert Bell leads it off in the bottom of the fourth. This was last night off Steve Avery. This was tonight off Maddox. So the man who hit 50 during the regular season and stroked 31 over the last 2 months of the year, most ever hit by a batter over a 2-month period, leads off.
Well, we saw his great strength, those 2 home runs, and they said one of Greg Maddox's great strength is adjusting when a hitter adjusts. So he moves up on the plate, talking about Albert Bell. Tom Glavine said, I can't do it. I'm too focused on just trying to get my curveball and changeup and fastball over. But Maddox looks about stance, holding the hands. And the first time, Bell up on the plate, and he is again much closer than he was last Saturday.
Nice play by Pulley. 1-1.
Well, I'll tell you what, nobody's ever going to accuse Frank Pulley of not really being energized and being into this game. Very nice, right off the mask.
Not that Bell's back foot is out of the box, but I think it's in Canton. Three and one. Maddox walked 2 in the first inning. Crowd trying to coax a walk or better. Instead, 3 and 2.
Well, this is obviously not the way he wants to pitch. He wants to be ahead 0-2, 1-2, work the corners. But I'll tell you what, he's not the type of guy that ever gives in, not on purpose. Even 3-2 here leading off an inning, I don't think he's going to do that.
Struck him out. 3 strikeouts for Greg Maddox, and that will bring up Eddie Murray. Tonight's World Series Game 5 is being brought to you by Chevrolet. The cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. Network MCI. How to get modern communications technology working for your business. And the employee owners of Avis. We're into the future, into it now, trying harder than ever. So here's Murray. After Maddox came up and in, precipitating a bench clearing incident, non-fracas, Eddie drew the walk and was eventually picked off by O'Brien at first base. One and one.
Normally an experienced hitter, if he's knocked down early in the count, he'll make a scene as Murray did, and what that does in effect is push the ball out over the plate. And that's what Murray tried to do, intimidate Maddox.
Look at that, lowest batting average in World Series play among players, active players with at least 50 at-bats. Ozzie Smith, the lowest, 173. Eddie would be next at 183, playing in his 3rd World Series. A lot of Smiths from the 1985 series when Ozzie was 2 for 23. As Kansas City came from behind to win that series.
Yeah, hard to believe. I mean, Eddie with got his 3,000th hit this year, one of 20 players to do that. 2 and 2. 479 regular season home runs. But in the Fall Classic, he has struggled.
That's line and caught, and what a play by Maddox. That's as good as it gets.
I got even more respect for Greg Maddux because, first of all, he shows me why he wins a Gold Glove, but number two, he gets out of the way and then catches it. Very nice.
I'll tell you, a certain amount of solace for Eddie Murray also after being knocked down. Now he knocks Maddux down. Not too many hitters have that opportunity. What a play.
But again, look at the balance. That's the only way that you can defend yourself, and that's really what he's doing. I mean, it's almost like that ball found his glove.
That's exactly right. The ball caught him, not the other way around.
I mean, that ball goes back at Maddox a lot faster than the pitch to Murray. 0-1 on Thome.
But those are the little things that allow you to win games.
Well, every time you see a line drive back to the mound like that, Herb scoring, you think about the Gil McDougall incident. Herb would have been one of the all-time greats, probably, were it not for that injury that truncated his career. Popped up. Chipper Jones will make the play, and that's that in the 4th inning. So to the 5th we go in Game 5, 2-1 Indians.
Centrum, it's more complete, a more advanced multivitamin.
Centrum's commitment to ongoing research assures you the best nutritional support.
If a vitamin's in the news, it's in my Centrum.
Like they say, from A to Zinc.
Centrum makes a science of being more complete.
Oral-B decided the best way to get rid of plaque would be to build a better toothbrush, the Advantage. Its power tip really gets behind your back teeth, and its action cup is great at removing plaque along the gum line. It's the best toothbrush ever from Oral-B.
There are more than 77 million parents in America today. 77 million moms and dads all doing the same thing, worrying about their kids. That's why you need Chevy Lumina, a car you can trust. Lumina offers an integrated child safety package. Few cars can offer your kids this protection, and no car in its class can offer it for the price of a Lumina. For 77 million of you, that's one less thing to worry about. That's genuine Chevrolet.
Saturday, Jeff's a kid when it comes to Halloween.
E pluribus unum, which where I come from means I'm not wearing any drawers.
A frightfully funny Foxworthy show Saturday.
Indians 2, Braves 1 as we go to the top of the 5th. Leslie Visser, what's happening down there?
Alan, with someone who knows a little bit about Orel Hershiser's competitiveness, his younger brother Gordy. Gordy, you pitched in the Dodger organization for 4 years. Your brother said he made an adjustment coming into this game from Game 1. What was that?
Well, essentially in Game 1, what he was doing and what he gets into the pattern of is he leans his back, he tilts towards the first base side, and he leads it with his jaw. And what that does is when he goes towards the plate, it drops his arm, and it drops his arm angle. So instead of his ball biting on his sinker, it essentially slides away over to the middle part of the plate. So he needs to straighten up a little bit and just work in a straight line with Sandy Alomar so he gets a good bite, not only on the sinker, but on the curveball.
Thanks, Gordy. Al, he's a broadcaster in Portland, Maine. He'll probably have our job.
Tell me about it. I was going to say, that's an audition tape right there. Palmer, you're out of here.
I got to start using the word essentially. Essentially, I was taught that your chin leads you where you're going. Try to keep the chin down along with the front shoulder, and then you're going to have a pretty good direction.
Except if you're a boxer.
Yeah, that was, yeah. I think that's what Gordy was alluding to.
Here's Klesko taking outside. Klesko, Lemke, and O'Brien. 5th inning, 2-1 Indians. Bell, a 2-run homer in the 1st. Polonia, a bases empty homer in the 4th. 2-0 on Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan's saying, you know, he'd rather be a first baseman. He's been playing left field, but in 2 games as a DH, he's got 2 home runs. It's quite a pace.
Only way he'll be a first baseman for the Braves is if they don't sign Fred McGriff.
And that's line base hit over Baerga's glove and out into right field. Klesko with a leadoff single, and Mark Lemke comes to the plate.
Well, Ryan hit .344 against right-handed pitching this year, and you don't want to go 2-0 And if you do, you've got to make a good pitch. This is not a good one. Belt high, middle of the plate. And if you're Orel Hershiser, you're actually lucky because you expect a good swing, and a lot of Klesko's swings end up in home runs with 23 this year.
Nobody out. Klesko at first base. There's a saying in baseball in the 7th game of a World Series when you ask who's in the bullpen, and the manager will say Charlie Holstaff, meaning everybody. Well, for the next 3 games, if it goes that long, that's who's in the bullpen for the Cleveland Indians.
With the possible exception of Dennis Martinez, who, if they win tonight, will be the starter on Saturday.
But Mike Hargrove saying that even if he needed to bring Charles Nagy in tonight to get a couple of batters, as a pitch out here doesn't yield anything, he would.
And I guess Kenny Hill, who pitched last night for the Indians. I mean, even for Atlanta, John Smoltz is in the bullpen tonight.
Smoltz would be a starter in Game 7 if we get that far. 2-1. World Series leaders among active players. We saw the low run before. Molitor, Henderson, and there's Lemke. So you've got Lemke on this list, and Ozzie Smith and Eddie Murray on the other list. Strange. Little chopper back to Hershiser, goes to second. No, he's off the bag. Harry Wendelstedt, the umpire at second. They will very often give you the in the neighborhood play there, but that was out of the neighborhood. And the Braves are runners at first and second.
That was a couple blocks away. A rare mistake by a fine fielder. Hershiser with plenty of time. I think he tried to rush it, trying to get 2. And on a play like that, you have to make sure you get the lead runner. The ball's not hit fast enough for you to get 2, and that ball clearly pulling Vizquel off the bag.
Yeah, you see him drop his arm a little bit, and when he drops his arm, Timmy, the ball tails. Arm up.
Go ahead, Jim.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I mean, you have to make that play, and we see the difference. Maddox already making some great fielding plays, and as we take a look, Klesko with a thumb injury earlier in the year.
Yeah, the interesting thing is Klesko slides by the bag. If Vizquel had the wherewithal to come back and make the tag, looked like he jammed his left thumb into the bag, and he slides by it by about 2 feet. Vizquel's complaining about the call, trying to get the call. Had he immediately gone back to Klesko, he could have tagged him past the bag. But obviously, at that time, he didn't realize that he was past the bag, as Jeff Porter, the assistant trainer, is out looking at the left thumb of Ryan Klesko. That's why you see a that's a torn britches right there. That's why you see a lot of guys wear gloves or carry gloves in both hands, so they don't open the hands on contact with a fielder or a base. A lot of guys in the olden days used to put 2 hands of dirt to make sure that didn't happen.
Now here's O'Brien in a situation where you might think bunt, but keep in mind Belliard's on deck, the number 9 hitter, is that stroked foul, so that would mitigate against a bunt. Here's Raphael, who does not have a hit in the World Series.
Now going back to that thumb injury, Klesko spent about 16 days on the DL in May with an injury to that left thumb.
Klesko at second. Lemke, who reached on the error at first. And now he's up there to bunt with a strike, and it's a good bunt fielded by Sereno to Baerga covering for the out. So a 3-4 sacrifice. Runners now at second and third.
And a pinch hitter for Belliard.
Yeah, well, this is an interesting case here where with Jeff Blauser hurt and not even on the roster, Belliard was the man. Now they're forced, as Dwight Smith comes up, to go with Mike Mordecai or Ed Giovanola, who was in the minors and was activated when Blauser went down.
I'll tell you, I mean, I think it's a good play. I think Hargrove's going to come out and talk about maybe who Orel wants to pitch to. You have to understand, Orel Hershiser had the best record as far as throwing double plays. The average is every time you have an opportunity, you get 1 out of 10. He's 1 out of 4.3.
Jim Poole begins to throw now in the Cleveland pen.
I don't think, I mean, I might be wrong about this, Jim, but I don't think you walk Dwight Smith in this situation. Not with a guy like Marquise Grissom, who's hit in every postseason game so far. I mean, it does set up a double play, but he runs so well, you'd have to hit the ball hard to get the double play, and you have a guy fresh off the bench. I pitched to Dwight Smith here. I don't even think about pitching around him.
Oh, I'm not going to suggest that he pitches around him, but again, this is one of these situations.
They're going to walk him. You were right.
Well, it's strange, but again, this is saying, listen, I can get out of this inning with one pitch, and maybe some respect for Dwight Smith, who's a heck of a pinch hitter.
If nothing else, it's taking the bat out of Smith's hand for the rest of the game, and the Braves will clearly be weakened on the left side of the infield. Belliard a much better shortstop than either Mordecai or Giovanola.
Now, Grissom, a very fast runner, tough to double. Dwight Smith, the fast runner. I mean, if Grissom gets a hit here, you could see a first and third and a Brave lead. This is a very brazen move, in my judgment, by Mike Hargrove. And I would imagine, Jim, you're right, but by going out to Hershiser, you're asking him the option, and I would think Hershiser said, let's walk him and take our chances with Grissom.
And again, what you're doing, if you're Mike Hargrove, you're trusting Orel Hershiser to do what he's done all year long. We'll just have to wait and see if that transpires.
Marquis 6 for 19 lifetime infield double play depth. And it's a little chopper to the left of the mound, and Hershiser won't have any play, as it turns out. The only play he would have had, the way that ball was hit, would have been a 1-2 force at home. And now the game is tied and the bases remain loaded. Grissom with an infield single to tie it.
Well, you know, you talk about fate, and this is, I mean, it's a good pitch. Very, very tough play, and at 37, I don't think Hershiser's going to make it very often. Greg Maddux, maybe at 29, but at 37, you're about 65 pitches into the game. Cold, cool night. Very, very tough play.
Well, if he doesn't make it, nobody makes it. He's got to try to barehand the ball.
He played it perfectly.
Yep.
I mean, in the sense, that's the only way he could have made the play.
Now a pitch out as they thought Polonia would be squeezing, and he's not.
Well, I tell you, that's some amazing strategy. The guy hits a home run the time before, and now they're looking for the squeeze.
I think possibly Mike Hargrove might have been thinking about the criticism that he was under when he didn't pitch out in game 1 of the 7th, but this is a totally different situation. You got Polonia, not Belliard.
Or they thought maybe they'd stolen a sign. I don't know. 1-1 to count. Yeah.
I think it probably stems from the criticism he got not pitching out in game 1. Arguable point, I know, but
if you are going to squeeze, that's the time to do it after a pitch out. Infield double play depth, and the 1-1 pitch is just off the plate. Ball 2. 2-1. Lemke at third. Smith at second. Grissom at first. Inning started with a base hit by Klesko, then the error by Hershiser. A sacrifice, an intentional walk, and the swift single by Grissom. 2-2 in the 5th. Grounded down to short. Vizquel by Erga 1. Back to first. Dug out by Sorrento. But the Braves get even. Halfway through this one, 2-2.
Chevy S-Series. It's one ride you don't want to miss.
From the producer of Lethal Weapon, a high-tech Russian mob is planning the heist of the century.
We'll have them by midnight.
An attorney who's discovered their plan
This could be it.
We've got her.
has become their target.
We know more about her than she does.
Now,
Wait!
One cop is her only defense.
Somebody knows every move we make. Take them out.
William Baldwin, Cindy Crawford, Fair Game. Rated R. Starts Friday, November 3rd at a theater near you.
We're into the future.
In conclusion, our balance sheet has never...
If we miss our plane, we've got problems.
One more thought. We must continue to
problems.
direct expense.
We missed our plane. I can tell you when the next one leaves.
Introducing Avis Flight Check, our exclusive up-to-the-minute flight information at car return. Another first from the employee owners of Avis.
Terminal B, Gate 2. You can just make it.
And I thought we had problems.
No, we have Avis.
Trying hard on and see how.
Sunday. It's football like you've never seen it before. Willis, Wayans, The Last Boy Scout, Sunday on ABC. Parental discretion advised.
Jacobs Field in Cleveland, this jewel of a ballpark, sparkling tonight. Game 5 of the World Series, 2-2 as we go to the bottom of the 5th.
Ryan Klesko talking to Dave Pursley appears to be all right. But you know, a ground ball double play is a strange animal because you want the hitter to hit it hard enough to where you can double him, especially if he runs well like Polonia does. An easy 6-4-3 double play. But that ball was scalded to shortstop.
Mike Mordecai is the new shortstop. Belliard pinch hit 4. And so Mordecai at short, who played sparingly this year. And Manny Ramirez leads off in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And so the Braves, they've improved their offense and hurt their defense.
Bottom of the order, Ramirez, Sorrento, and Alomar. 1-1.
Good old Bobby.
Bobby and Frank Pulley, I think, have had this conversation before.
I'll tell you, I mean, Frank Pulley is calling the balls the way they should be. They're just a little bit outside. And of course, you know, good umpires, they just look over, I mean, give you the wave off.
Hopper down to Mordecai, who sees immediate action and guns him down.
Well, that's what you want when you come in for defense. You want the ball to be hit to you immediately. You don't want to wait like an inning and a third and think about it. It's like a field goal kicker. You don't like that timeout on the other side.
The other night he had one hit to him and he threw it in the dirt. Right. He was bailed out.
Right.
Now Sorrento, who struck out in the 2nd inning. Indians through 4 games in the World Series. Take another look at that. And we threw an extra E in there for an eerie coincidence. In the 54 World Series, they had 26 hits and 137 at-bats going down to the Giants in 4. Exactly the same figures prevailed through the first 4 games in this series. Though they did win 1, and we talked about it earlier, they hit 291, did the Indians, during the regular season. And their average in the World Series coming into tonight's game, 190. Rolled foul, 2-2.
Manager Mike Hargrove, he said, you know, to me it's quite simple. We have not faced pitching as good as the Braves. Guys that change speeds, pitch to both sides of the plate. And the only guy they had some success with, and in fairness to John Smoltz, who hadn't pitched in 13 days, was Smoltz, a power pitcher.
He lasted 2 1/3 innings on Tuesday night.
2-2 to Sorrento, is hit in the air to right field and deep. Justice backs up and makes the catch on the warning track.
Hit it off the end of the bat. Didn't quite get it. That's what Maddox can do. He is talk about all the mastery and everything. He's a wizard at keeping the ball off the fat part of the bat. Watch this ball hit right down on the end. Little changeup.
Well, that's what he says. What is pitching? It's the art of messing up hitters' timing and then trying to outguess them. Boy, has he been good at that this year.
Plays that guessing game pretty well, doesn't he?
Alomar hits one in the gap toward left center field, and that one is off the top of the wall. Polonia chases it down, and Alomar has a 2-out double.
Well, Tim, he doesn't make too many mistakes. But in the division series, he made 2 of them, and they're on this pitch. A high slider, a hanging slider.
Looked like it backed up into the strike zone.
One to Castillo, one to Bichette. And that ball misses from going out by about 2 feet, maybe even less than that. I mean, this ball is nailed. Actually, you can see it just coming off the wall. And Luis Polonia there to hold Alomar to a double. That wall out left field, 19 feet high.
And it's not only an asymmetrical park, but the wall 19 feet in left, but if he hits it to center or right, it's 8 feet. Lofton. It's a little squibber up the line that bounces foul. 0-1. Davey Nelson wants to make sure it stays foul. Davey Nelson, longtime American League infielder. Kick is no good. I was talking to Davey's parents, Ozzie and Harry. No, I guess not. That's the other Davey. I'm sorry about that.
Well, what you're going to see right here, you're going to see the Atlanta infielders playing a little deeper with 2 out and a man on second base. Even if they can't make a play at first, they'll be deep enough to knock a ball down. Infielders are trained to do that with 2 out and a man on second.
0-1 on Lofton. And that's lined to right field and deep, and Justice backs up and he makes the catch. So the Indians with good wood in the 5th inning, but to no avail. Strand Alomar at second. To the 6th we go. The game tied 2-2.
There's this college team I practice with to stay in shape. Each one is out to prove that they can hit the Rhine Express. I'm out to prove they can't. After a day of fastballs, it's Advil for me. Nothing has shown me that it works better or lasts longer than Advil.
For sore muscles, more doctors recommend Advil than any other pain reliever.
I love that sound.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Chevy Blazer, the only sport utility vehicle with a driver control system. It's nice to know it's there.
This is about advanced communication technology, about what's happening today, how things like the virtual office and call centers can work for your business. But it's not about bits, bytes, bells, or whistles. This is about people who know how to listen and where to look, people who can help you put all the pieces together and even get you the hardware and software you need for free. This is about how simple things can be, about knowing who, about knowing how. Network MCI, that's how.
Monday, the marshals got to catch a serial killer who's out of control. Before the body count goes up,
Put the gun down, Earl.
Jeff Fahey is the marshal. Monday.
2-2 heading to the top of the 6th inning in the 5th game of the World Series in Cleveland. A reminder, Saturday on ABC Sports at 1:30 Eastern Time and 4 o'clock Pacific Time. The Tour Championship. Billy Mayfair heading the field after 1 round, and you'll see the action Saturday right here on ABC.
It's a little like your follow-through, Al.
Yes, right. Just a little. College football on Saturday as well. Nebraska, Colorado, Florida, Georgia. USC against Washington, and Minnesota takes on Michigan. Regional action. Check your local listings.
You can't find anybody in this booth with that follow-through but you.
That's right.
Well, I tell you, if that ball would just listen to what you tell it before you hit it, Al.
Yep, right.
It would be much easier, wouldn't it?
That's what some of these players and hitters are thinking about right now.
Well, you
Just
know,
listen
Davis.
to
Yeah,
me.
you know, Davis Justice is going to talk to himself, to the bat, to the ball.
Yep.
He'll come up third in the inning, which begins with Jones at the plate. Jones, McGriff, and Justice, and Hershiser in there for a strike, 0-1. Orel through 5, 4 hits and 2 runs, 1 earned, a walk and 4 strikeouts. That's hit foul. Funny thing about the way it's scored in baseball, the run against Hershiser in the 5th inning would be unearned, despite the fact it was created because of his error. 0-2 to Jones. Got him.
Well, there you go. What Greg Maddux does so well, something you talked about earlier, Tim.
Right.
Hershiser, I mean, page right out of the book, both sides of the plate. That tailing fastball that Chipper Jones thinks is going to be inside, and right on the corner. At least Frank Pulley thought it was.
That pitch most effective right at the belt. You see the left-handed hitters lift the hands. Once they lift the hands and that ball tails back over the plate, they're dead.
Freddie McGriff has struck out twice tonight. Orel has struck out 5. 1-0. McGriff during the regular year hit .280 with 27 home runs. You forget the regular season's been over 3 weeks. It is a long postseason, but it's been a very exciting one. Chopper. Hershiser hurries his throw. Nails him. 2 down, and that will bring up David Justice. Again, the Goodyear blimp. Spirit of Akron providing the scenic, spectacular shots of downtown Cleveland. This ballpark, part of the whole renaissance, and we've talked about it. It's been written about a lot around the country. The Indians for years, the futility, the frustration, never even really coming close to winning for so long. Playing in the old ballpark, and then they built this park, and it is just a jewel. One and 0 on Justice.
Well, I'll tell you what, Orel Hershiser has liked to pitch here over the course of this year. Went 10-2 here. A little over 2.5 runs a game. That's an amazing ERA in this ballpark.
2-0.
And Vizquel going to go to the right side of the infield because 2-0, they expect Justice to become a pull hitter. Even though they play him a couple of steps to left in the outfield.
And he goes the other way and hits it to left field and deep, and Bell backs up and makes the catch in the middle of the track.
Thing is, they were happy that he went the other way.
Did him a favor. 2-2, middle of the 6th.
Time. It fools you. You think you have all the time in the world, and then one morning you wake up and you're older and getting closer to retirement. But many Americans haven't saved enough to enjoy it. That's why there's Sun America. Ask your financial advisor about us today. Because it's not just your retirement, it's your future. Look to the sun. Sun America.
At 11, photos of O.J. covered in fake blood. You decide if they belong in an art gallery. Plus, a Southland serial killer's unusual sentencing day plea. At 11, only on Channel 7.
Well, I think things are going to get very interesting now. 2-2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. And now the bullpens are going to come into play. And Wohlers didn't have it last night after working 2 2/3 innings 2 nights ago. Mesa worked 3 innings 2 nights ago. It's going to be a very interesting set of circumstances that develop.
Well, it's not as worrisome for Bobby Cox as it is for Mike Hargrove. You may even see a guy like Mesa come in the 8th inning of a tie ball game.
Even though he hasn't done that very much, but I think Bobby Cox said, I'd love to have Maddox go 9 innings and not worry about Wohlers. But I'll tell you what, Maddox that we're seeing tonight is not the Greg Maddox that we saw Saturday night in Atlanta. Not pitching badly, but not on top of his game. A lot more fly balls, and lately a few line drives.
Actually, Maddox has only allowed 2 hits since the 1st inning. The 2-run homer by Bell, the walk to Murray. Only 2 base runners since then.
Tony Pena, I don't know if he was hit by a ball or went into the dugout or what. He's got I mean, that is the quintessential fat lip. Bottom of the 6th inning, Vizquel leading things off. Strike 1.
He wants to be like Chipper Jones. Chipper Jones on Friday night in the workout in Atlanta took one off the wall.
Yep. 2 of a kind. Strike. 0-2. Vizquel, Baerga, and Bell. Game tied 2-2. Bottom of the 6th inning. Rolls slowly toward a charging Mike Mordecai, who throws him out. One shortstop takes care of the other, and Carlos Baerga, who is twice grounded to second base, comes up. We understand our producer Kurt Gowdy Jr. telling us that Tony was warming up Hershiser between innings, and that's how he got the fat lip.
Obviously without a mask.
Yeah, when you don't have your mask on, what you want to do is olay those balls in the dirt. It's going to hit you. It's going to hit you in the rear end.
Strike. 0-1 on Baerga. Martinez telling Tony, you got to wear a mask.
Yeah, because if the Indians win tonight, Pena will be catching Martinez on Saturday night, and he wants him healthy.
And they might need Tony as a pinch hitter tonight.
Sure.
As well. That stroke down the left field line, fair ball, bouncing into the corner. Polonia plays the carom perfectly. Baerga on his way to second, diving in with a double.
You talk about a guy who made an adjustment. Carlos Baerga grounded out to second his first 2 times up. And there was no way he was going to try to pull the Maddox fastball away again. He hits it right down the left field line for a double. He had 28 during the season. An interesting situation right here.
Good play by Polonia, who is not... Well, he is actually familiar with his ballpark, having played there with the Yankees, but with that tarp there, as Cox goes to the mound and first base open here, they'll discuss strategy. But Luis did all he could to hold him to a single.
I think Maddox said he wants to pitch to him, but Bobby Cox giving Greg the same option that Mike Hargrove gave Oral Hershiser when Dwight Smith was the pinch hitter. But now you have righty to righty.
Right, and you've got 2 left-handed batters to follow.
Well, nobody in the American League hit right-handed pitching better than Eddie Murray, who's on deck. He had 340.
And they're going to walk him and take their chances with Murray. So they take the bat out of Bell's hands. And Albert draws his 12th postseason walk. And so here we go again after that first inning confrontation between Murray and Maddox. This is what it comes down to, with 2 on and 1 out in the 6th, and the din. Eddie.
I think what Maddox is probably thinking, that even if you make a good pitch to Bell on the outside corner, that Albert is strong enough to hit the ball out the other way. He has 2 opposite field home runs. So by pitching around him, you may be pitching into his strength.
Here it was in the first inning. Bell had homered. He was the prior batter. Maddox comes up and in. And then the next time up, Maddox made the play of plays.
I mean, Maddox had such a great year. The whole league hit 198. Lefties only 212. So here's a guy that was great against righties and lefties, against the best hitter in the American League against right-handed pitching.
Ball 1 to Murray.
You mentioned that 11 for 62 lifetime in the World Series. You could exercise a lot of demons with a big blow here.
On top of that game-winning blow 2 nights ago. Hit sharply to deep right, but Justice will make the play. Tagging at second base is Baerga and advances to third. So he hit it on the money, but right in the neighborhood of Dave Justice for out number 2. And the Indians have runners at first and third.
It's about the same place on the bat, however, that Sorrento hit the ball to right field. Maddox with that uncanny ability to keep it on the end of the bat instead of the fat part of the bat.
Well, we talked last night about, in fact, his first game, location. Look where the ball is. It's 2-0. You don't give in. You get the ball away, Timmy. And instead of hitting it on the fat part, a little bit out on the end.
Yep.
And again, Justice playing around because he knew Maddox, or expected Maddox to make a good pitch, and he did.
Good pitching and good scouting right there, too.
Well, it sure is.
Baerga, the go-ahead run at third. Bell at first. Thome has grounded out and popped out. He is 2 for 14 in the World Series.
Now, Thome is another guy that said, I got to take the outside part of the plate away.
And Maddox comes in on him, 0-1.
But see, this is what he said. I mean, this is really what it's all about. A young hitter, he says, listen, I'm going to look away. I'm going to take the pitch inside. And then in a clutch situation, and this is what good pitchers thrive on, they know hitters are going to expand the strike zone. He throws the first pitch up and in. Thome said he's not going to swing at it, and he does. He's behind in the count.
Fisted foul straight back, 0-2.
2 of them inside. 2 inside fastballs to an inside fastball hitter. And now Maddox can do anything he wants with Jim. He can go away. He can take something off. So you really have to watch Albert Bell. I mean, Mike Hargrove may try to steal a run here.
And McGriff's going to play off the bag at first base.
Right.
They'll give Bell second base uncontested if he wants to go. And the pitch is popped up in foul ground and back in the seats.
Well, I think it's too early for that, Al. I mean, here we are only in the 6th inning. If you give Albert Bell second base, Thome gets a hit. You're 2 runs behind if you're Bobby Cox. I think they realize that Albert Bell is not a fast runner, and they can afford to play McGriff behind him. I think if he runs, I think Charlie O'Brien will try to look Baerga back and throw through.
Yeah, neither of these base runners with good speed.
No.
Especially with Baerga with the bad ankle.
Well, they're almost daring Bell to run because Belliard or Mordecai at shortstop and Lemke are well away from the bag.
Of course, there are 2 outs and 2 strikes. But when you look at the middle infielders, you really get the feeling that they are giving Albert second base.
Yep. They're normally positioned.
See if Jeff Newman, the third base coach for the Indians, picks that up. And if he does, they may send Bell here.
If it's a no-risk situation for the base runner, the good news for you is that it takes away a force at second base.
Yeah, if they're going to give it to you, take it.
He won't take it, and the pitch is up high. 1-2. And it's lined back through the middle to give the Indians the lead. Bell goes to third. 3-2.
Get the feeling that Thome was looking away on every pitch and finally got one, Jim.
Well, you know, Charlie Manuel, the hitting instructor, said, I wish that Thome, again, a young hitter, would cut down his swing with 2 strikes. Struck out 122 times. You can see him shorten his stroke, look away, and as you said, drive it right back up the middle.
And O'Brien set up outside very early that time. The pitch was there. And Thome stroked it right back through the middle. And that one's hit into right field to make it 4-2 by Ramirez. Sorrento at the plate. First and second. 2 out. 0-1. Thome at second. Ramirez at first. 4-2 in the 6th. Popped up. Back of third. Jones is there. Inning over, but the damage done. 2 runs, 3 hits, end of 6. Cleveland 4, Atlanta 2. Back we come after this from our ABC stations.
Tonight on Nightline, don't be deceived. It may look familiar, but what's going on here is bound to change your life. The Budget Revolution on Nightline tonight.
Presenting the BMW 7 Series, a luxury car with the soul of a BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
All right, what do you think about a story about how Roger Clemens has lost his best fastball?
He has not lost his best fastball, Jack.
Oh, come on, 89, 90 miles an hour tops.
95, 96, 2 weeks ago, 100 earlier this year in Detroit. He can still bring it.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
All right, wait, we can settle this real easily. Rocket, could you come in here for a second?
What's up, gang?
Jack here says you can't bring it anymore.
Oh, is that right? Can you hold that for me, please?
98. Pretty good. Pretty good. I told you there was no story.
Got it.
Thanks, Roger.
You got it, guys. Anytime.
$5,000 for the baby. I'm embarrassed to take this. You could do something with it. Like what? Go on a cruise. If your mother and I want to do that, we'll do that. I can't pay this back. Pay it back by doing the same thing for your grandchild.
What would you give
to see the way your father was at your age. Time steals memories. Now that you're a father, these memories are a gift you can give your children with a Panasonic Palmcorder camcorder. And unlike so many camcorders, Palmcorder tapes can play in any VHS VCR, so you can share your memories with your children or anyone. The Palmcorder. Its tapes play in your VCR from Panasonic.
Could you be happier living with less? Next, Oprah.
Cleveland leading Atlanta 4-2 in the 5th game. And changes now for the Indians. Wayne Kirby for Manny Ramirez in right field. And Herbert Perry, who sparkled in the field 2 nights ago at first base, for Paul Sorrento. Klesko takes a strike as we start the 7th inning.
Now, to give you an idea of what a monumental task the Indians have done, only twice in the regular season has Greg Maddux given up 4 or more runs. Once in the postseasons against the Rockies. I mean, what a year he's had.
Six, 7, and 8. Klesko, Lemke, and O'Brien here in the 7th inning. 2-1. Indians busy in the bullpen as Hershiser goes into the 7th. He came out the other night in the 7th in Atlanta
after 2 leadoff walks.
Grounded to short. Omar Vizquel. 1 gone. In the bullpen for the Indians, a lefty and a righty, and they can left-right you all night. The righty is Eric Plunk. The lefty is Jim Poole. Tonight's Toyota Diamond Dust Quiz. Fred Lindstrom, age 18, the youngest player ever in a World Series game for the New York Giants in 24. Which former Red Sox pitcher was the youngest ever to pitch in a World Series game? Answer soon. Lemke hits it down to Baerga. And second baseman throws out the other. 2 down. Orel has now set down 6 in a row.
I think the answer to that is Kenny Brett in 1967.
Could be.
I believe.
Shortly.
Bubbles all over
everything.
the place.
Right. Gloves, bubbles, fat lips.
I'm forever blowing bubbles.
Javier Lopez now will come up to pinch hit for O'Brien. You know, one big difference between the designated hitter and not having it is that if this game's in Atlanta at this point, with the number 8 hitter coming up and Maddux on deck, Cox would be almost certain to bat for Maddux. But in this situation, he can keep him in the game. He doesn't have to worry about that thing. 1-0.
Yeah, because I think Bobby's past the point of bringing Maddux back on Sunday night. Because he's already past the point. He's thrown too many pitches right now. He's probably up around 90.
Certainly as a starter, the Maddux could come out of the bullpen on Sunday night. 1-1. That's Orel's 93rd pitch of the game, and it's unassisted as Alomar takes care of Lopez. Javi puts up a mild beef. Pulley said, you hit it out in front of the plate. It's a fair ball. You should know it better than anybody, Javi. You're a catcher.
See, the ball hits behind home plate, but it's not where it hits, it's where it is.
Where it's gloved. 3 up, 3 down. 4-2 Cleveland.
Blah, 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 blah.
This is what I hate about car advertising. I want a car that doesn't need height. One with a little elbow room. And safety. Show me standard dual airbags.
Anti-lock brakes!
Give me a powerful, efficient engine.
I can figure out it's smart if you tell me it's well made and it's gonna last.
Tell me a car like this exists, please. The 1996 Toyota Tercel. Ah, somebody was listening.
It's tough to admit you've got hemorrhoids, but knowing what to do about them is easy. Just get what doctors recommend, Preparation H. It helps relieve all these symptoms, and it's formulated to reduce swelling. More people trust doctor-recommended Preparation H.
Now you can own Batman Forever on video.
Riddle me this, riddle me that.
Who will be the first to bring home the bat on October 31st? Own Batman Forever.
2 new Beatles songs, the most anticipated event in 30 years, an event no one thought would ever happen. The Beatles Anthology, November 19th.
Take a look at the last out. Lopez comes in and pinch hits. You can see the ball bouncing right behind home plate. Very alert by Sandy Alomar. And Frank Poli right there. A lot of umpires, if the ball is down by your feet, will immediately call it foul. Kind of takes him off the hook, but Sandy Alomar very alert, and you get a very, very easy inning for Orel Hershiser.
So we had a diamond dust answer. The question, which former Red Sox pitcher, the youngest ever to pitch in a World Series game? You're right, Ken Brett.
The man knows everything.
Yep. Now broadcasting.
I played against him. That's the Angels. 1967 series against the Red Sox.
Brother of George. Javi Lopez stays in the game. He'll catch Maddox as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and Alomar to lead off. Sandy, the number 9 hitter. We'll see Lofton and Vizquel, and that's stroked into right field for a leadoff single. Sandy Alomar 2 for 3.
Seems like the deeper in this game that the Indians go, the more they look away from Greg Maddux.
Well, they've made some great adjustments.
Yeah.
You know, they're a very young ball club. I mean, only 6 guys on the Indians have postseason experience, 11 on Atlanta. But they must be quick studies. I mean, Maddux, this is postseason, but during the regular season, 18-0 on the road. Hasn't lost in his last 20 starts.
Brad Klontz and last night's star, Pedro Borbon Jr. throwing in the pen.
And I think Bobby Cox encountering what's so difficult when you have your ace on the mound. Very tough to take an ace out. When to know to relieve him. You just don't see him struggle this much.
Line to center field and right into the glove of Marquise Grissom. Lofton's hit a couple of balls very hard tonight, but he is 0 for 4. Tonight's Game 5 of the World Series is being brought to you by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Sun America, the retirement saving specialists, and the makers of Advil.
The reason that the hitters are looking away now is because Maddux is fatigued and can't come in with the same velocity that he could earlier. So if he comes inside, it's going to be bad, not for a strike.
Vizquel, 1 out. Alomar at first base. Jones in on the grass at third. Well, Maddux doesn't have his man. Not that O'Brien is the only guy he can link up with, but they make the change here, and so the two of them have to get together, Maddux and Lopez.
I can't imagine that Lopez has caught him very much this year. I mean, how many times have you had to pinch hit for Charlie O'Brien when the guy goes 19-2?
Well, Maddux had 28 starts. O'Brien caught 22 of them, so he caught him 6 times.
And Greg is such a perfectionist.
Well, sometimes a pitcher has problems seeing in that shadow between the catcher's legs when you put down fingers. A lot of catchers put tape on their fingers. Matter of fact, Alomar has tape on his fingers right now. But Lopez, not thinking he was going to catch tonight, probably didn't put him there.
The game is getting so scientific, a catcher's going to need a fluorescent manicure pretty soon.
You mean they don't get them now?
You're probably right.
But you can see that shadow between the legs. It's very difficult. That's a throw to first base, I believe. Yep. That thumb used to be the knockdown pitch, by the way. And now the Braves are using that as a throw to first base. And Lopez gets a sign from the dugout. It's like a changeup.
Squares the butt, takes a strike.
You know, Al, last night you mentioned the old ballpark here in Cleveland, and that, where the lights weren't good, was a place where I had trouble seeing.
Seeing the catcher sign.
Yeah, and again, I mean, you're in a game where you can't afford to give up any more runs. You got to be sure.
4-2 Indians in the 7th.
That's a throw to first.
You bet.
And they think Alomar is going to be running.
Seems like the only way he'll be running is part of a hit and run play.
One and two.
That was interesting. Maddox stared off 3 signs then. Some pitchers like to stare off a sign. They'll just keep staring and won't go into their motion until the catcher changes the signs. And with nobody on at second base, they're using just a 1 sign. You see Maddox staring that off? He wants the fastball inside again.
Got him. Put the pitch exactly where he wanted it, exactly where Tim McCarver said it would be. And Vizquel gone on strikes.
Well, see, you know, he's still pitched very well tonight when he's gotten ahead with 2 strikes. But going back to the point earlier, Timmy, early in the count, the Indians looking away, getting pitches away, and hitting pitches away.
Especially in this inning. The first pitch to Alomar, outside, line to right field. The next pitch to Lofton, outside, line to center for the out. And now Maddox coming back inside a little more.
Now Baerga. Strike. That was the 100th pitch thrown by Maddox tonight.
And if Indians win tonight, Tom Glavine will pitch Saturday night for the Braves. And you know, here's the guy that just stays away. Great change of great fastball. Interesting to see if the Indians can make an adjustment on him.
Broken bat, Squiver hits slowly down to second, and Lemke throws him out. We'll go to the 8th in Game 5. The Indians trying to stay alive, leading 4-2.
We're into the future.
Mommy's lost. Mommy's lost.
Not this mommy. Not in this car.
Avis Satellite Guidance. First in the most cities across America. Another way the employee owners of Avis are making the future safer, faster, and better.
Destination ahead. You found us. Avis
It has dominated the field. And now Toyota's newest 4x4 Tacoma has arrived. Only it's stronger. Tacoma's impressively powerful new 190 horsepower V6 outguns the leading competitor's best. It's tougher, out here where toughness counts. And with its class-leading ground clearance, Tacoma runs free. Toyota Tacoma, the arrival of the fittest.
Starting on up, you're behind the wheel. Move it down the road now, see how it feels, yeah. Add more life to your car, take it to the start.
From Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines to Haviland Formula 3 motor oil and Texaco Antifreeze coolant, there's no better place to take your car than to the star.
Add more life to your car, take it to the start.
Sunday, November 5th. Get ready for the ride of your life with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Rosanna Arquette in Nowhere to Run. Parental discretion advised.
Going to the 8th inning, Cleveland leading 4-2 at Jacobs Field. Al Michaels with Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver. The Atlanta Braves trying to win a world title, which would be the first for that franchise since 1957 when they were based in Milwaukee. And the Indians trying to stay alive and earn a trip back to Georgia.
Number 16, Mike Mordecai.
Mazzoni and Cox conferring as Maddox is into triple figures and probably done for the night as Hershiser gets set to work here in the 8th inning.
And I'm sure that Mark Wiley, pitching coach for the Indians, Hargrove having a conversation. Mike telling us before the game, when you get, as we look at Greg Maddux, and most likely finished. But Hargrove saying when Worrell gets into the 90s, and that's where he is, we are going to keep a very close watch on him.
2-0.
Because of the damage and the operation that Worrell had 4 years ago. Do you know something about a sinker ball pitcher? They can be as effective in the late innings when they don't get tired. Even though a rare 3-0 count tonight.
But when they start getting the ball up, and you know this as well as I, that usually means the legs are going.
And this is 3-0 on Mordecai, the number 9 hitter who takes a strike. Hitting for the first time in the game. Brad Klontz up in the Braves pen. Mordecai took Belliard's spot after Smith hit for Raphael.
And remember we talked to Bobby Cox. You ever tell a hitter to take a pitch? Maybe taking right here.
No, swinging and lining a base hit into left field. So Mordecai with a single here in the 8th inning to lead things off. And Marquise Grissom comes up. And will there be a visit? Hargrove remains in the dugout.
Remember we told you about the fact when they took Belliard out for a pinch hitter, Dwight Smith, who they walked. You maybe lose a little bit defensively, but offensively you get something in Mordecai because he hit 280 this year.
And they don't have anybody warming up at the bullpen that can induce a double play like Hershiser.
Which is the reason he stays in as Grissom takes low. But Grissom's a tough guy to double.
Well, still you get the ground ball. That at least is what I think Mike's thinking right now.
It has to be, because he's been burned a couple of times in the last 2 nights. And that's a liner caught by Hershiser, throws to first. They got him for the double play. What a play. Well, Maddox made a fabulous play before, but under these circumstances, that is as good as it gets.
Well, that was an extraordinary play.
Well, this may be a ticket to Atlanta right here. A 1-3 double play.
Well, he left him in to get the double play, and he got it. Polonia tries to bunt his way on. That's a strike.
Interesting thing. Any other situation, 1 out, 1 on, you bring the left-hander in to pitch to Polonia. But since there are 2 outs and nobody on, I think Mike's going to allow him to pitch to Polonia, but you'll probably see somebody else if Polonia gets on.
0-2.
And I'll tell you, he ain't going to get a hanging curveball this time. I mean, this is the time of the game when you may throw him a curveball, but you'll try to bounce it low and away right on the outside corner.
Bulldog has him in a frenzy. One and 2. The count. And that's grounded, just foul outside first.
That was very close to being a base hit. But just hooking foul. Just hooking foul.
Joe Brinkman. There he is. Well, Joe, I'll tell you what, wait till game 6 if they have game 6. Very deliberate. You think he's deliberate down the right field line? Wait till he gets behind the plate.
The Indians would love to see that.
Yes, they would. But he does usually get them right.
2-2. Struck him out. 7.5 gone.
It's been said that everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. For some, that's just their daily commute. The Lexus Coupe.
Time marches on. And if you haven't planned for your retirement, you're losing ground. If you're like most Americans, you probably haven't saved enough, long enough, to retire on solid ground. That's why there's Sun America. Ask your financial advisor about Sun America today. Because the only thing that goes faster than money is time. Look to the sun, Sun America.
At 11, no honeymoon for the marrying man. Alec Baldwin arrested. Plus photos of O.J. in fake blood. Do they belong in an art gallery? On Eyewitness News at 11.
We have seen 2 extraordinary plays by both pitchers tonight. And our MCI Proof Positive replay. And here it is. The Bulldog finds a bone. Extraordinary.
Well, game saver, Gold Glover in '88. Gold Glover here tonight. I tell you, I can't tell you how good he felt after that line drive. Stuck in the leather.
If he doesn't make that play, it's 1st and 3rd, nobody on. The whole complexion of that inning changes.
Sure, no doubt about it.
With Polonia and Jones and McGriff following.
Right.
Bottom of the 8th inning. Bell, Murray, and Tommy Brad Klontz on in relief of Maddox.
My key is not open.
Well, win or lose, it's the last game of the year here, and it's been a beauty. Strike, 0-1.
I mean, what a job John Hart's done to assemble this ball club. Hank Peters, telling him you're going to be the general manager of the future back in 1989.
0-2. Bell, one of the homegrown Indians. A lot of the others came in trades and through free agency. Lofton, Baerga, Alomar among those in the trades. Murray, a free agent, but Bell homegrown. And he just got a piece of it to stay alive.
By the way, that last strikeout by Hershiser ties a postseason record, 35 strikeouts. It ties him with Tom Seaver and Bob Gibson. Seaver did it. 1973, Bob Gibson did it in only 27 innings in 1968.
Bell gone. One away. Murray coming up. There it is, and Tim McCarver on the receiving end in that 68 postseason. Seaver doing it the year that the Mets win the pennant despite finishing 3 games over 500 in the regular season and knocking the Reds off before losing to the A's in the World Series.
They were all saying, you know, the hardest thing in the postseason is to handle that adrenaline rush. Think that's not flowing right there on the bench?
I was just thinking, you know, Bob Gibson with that extraordinary 35 strikeouts in only 27 innings, besting Seaver and Hershiser, actually, even though the same amount of strikeouts, fewer innings. But the Tigers beat Gibson in Game 7, and this could be just as big a win if the Indians could beat Maddox tonight.
1-1. On the appeal, when the Braves bat in the top of the 9th inning, 3, 4, and 5 coming up. Jones, McGriff, and Justice. And there's the man, Jose Mesa. 3 brilliant innings in Game 3 and got the win. And Murray pops it foul, and that will drift back out of play. 2-1.
Well, Klotz struggled with lefties. They hit .344, and if you want to make it easier for the big guy, Jose Mesa, add a few runs here. You got Eddie, who hit right-handers well. You got Tomei on deck, followed by Ramirez. A couple of tack-on runs would make it a lot easier.
Ground ball to the right side, corralled by Lemke. 2 down, and Jim Tomei comes up. If we go to a 7th game, we'll have it on ABC. A 6th game on Saturday night. Again, here's a hint. Bob Costas is beginning to gargle right now. Euchre and Morgan, I don't know. Dennis Martinez goes in Game 6. And Tom Glavine for Atlanta.
Bob and Joe happily gargling.
Yes. Well, this has been a terrific World Series. 3 one-run games. Last night's game 5-2, but a lot of drama throughout. And a beauty tonight in Cleveland.
It's been a character test for the Indians, and so far they passed it. I mean, Tomei, what did he tell us down the hallway? We're going to have to play a little bit better. And to this point, they have.
Foul back. 2-1. Herbert Perry is on deck.
Well, there's another example of what Charlie Manuel's talking about. 2 strikes, cut down your swing. Tell you, could have called him out.
Yeah, that last little wiggle may have gotten Jim. He got a break on that.
I would have wanted it. Bobby Cox sure did.
Didn't cut down on that swing.
No. Well, he doesn't. I mean, Charlie Manuel managed this guy, Jim Thome, in Charlotte. And he said that when he was MVP in AAA in 1993, he said it was like a man playing with boys. And he's going to be a terrific player. There's Devo, Mike Devereaux.
Ripped foul.
I have always thought that cutting down on your swing is really a misnomer. What you do is you adjust your thinking with 2 strikes. You don't take the same swing with 2 strikes that you would take 2 balls and no strikes, 3 and 1. So it's almost like you back up your thinking. You kind of corral your thinking a bit.
Deep center field where it's 405 and gone.
This ball might be hit 450 feet to straightaway center field. Forget this one.
This is what they do best. 207 in the regular season.
I'll tell you, if he cut down on his swing with where he hit that ball, had he aired it out, he may have hit it to Akron. Man.
And over a 19-foot high wall by plenty. Strike to Perry, 1-1.
That ball would have gone over the Great Wall of China.
Mercy.
Hit toward the middle. Mordecai does a 360 and throws him out. But Thome with a homer, and it's 5-2 as we go to the ninth.
The most affordable Lexus now comes with a moonroof. 6-disc CD auto changer. Leather-trimmed seats. And chrome wheels worthy of a Lexus. And with a savings of up to $2,000, you'll laugh all the way to the bank. The ES 300 Luxury Value Package. Available while they last at your Lexus dealer.
Major League Baseball Home Video presents the Ultimate Series Souvenir, the official 1995 World Series video. All the drama of the 1995 World Series, plus exclusive interviews are showcased in this remarkable video. To order the 95 World Series video for $19.95 plus $4.95 shipping, use your credit card and call 1-800-787-6227. 1-800-787-6227.
A crime of passion. He's dangerous. Or a cover-up.
He's a player, likes his women.
I did not touch her, and I never had sex with her.
How far will it all go before Hollywood's biggest scandal is exposed?
Doesn't matter if you're in bed with them or not. You might be the next one dead.
Murder One next Thursday on ABC.
Friday, this was the 2020 that touched your hearts. 2 sisters joined at birth and only one survived. This week, we'll show you her incredible life.
Plus, if you're one of the millions who drive these minivans, could this happen to you in a crash? Is Chrysler doing enough to keep you safe? What you should know on 2020 Friday.
We go to the ninth. Jose Mesa comes in, and we can tell you the executive producer of ABC Sports, Jack O'Hara, coordinating producer of the Baseball Network, John Filippelli, and the producer of the World Series, Kurt Gowdy Jr. Great job by Kurt, and our director, Bill Webb. And the rest of the gang providing the scenics and the audio from Cleveland, where it has been a great night for the Indian fans. Woody Fryman and the rest of the gang. We appreciate the efforts of all as the World Series and Steve Hurt and the gang and everybody head to Atlanta the way it appears right now.
Well, this
we'll
no, yeah, no different than last night. Indians came in trailing 5-2. You need base runners. Last night was against Wohlers. Tonight it's going to be against baseball's best right-handed reliever. 46 out of 48. He throws strikes. ERA about 1.13 on the year. And you're going to have to earn your spurs to beat this guy.
Against the fat part of the Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. It always seems that way, too.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. Chipper Jones 1 for 3 tonight. One and oh.
You know, Bobby Cox telling us, you know, Wohlers occasionally will get wild, but Mesa, what do you say? Doesn't he always throw strikes? So I don't see, unless he goes 2-0, 3-1, I don't think you're going to see him take it.
1-1.
Marvelous job, Bob, the ace of hearts.
1-2.
Jose Mesa, you can see him on the speed gun. He used to be a starter, had 4 pitches. Now it's 2. Fastball slider.
Just got a piece of it.
Every once in a while throw that slow curveball. Used to throw a splitter, hasn't thrown it all year.
In the air to right field. Kirby, 1 out. Freddie McGriff coming up. Orel Hershiser, the ace of hearts.
Yeah,
he is. I think he was a royal flush tonight, is what he was.
Yes, he was.
1-0. The Bulldog.
In front of a full house.
Yes, absolutely. With all the money on the table, too. 1-1. Pena still nursing that lip, and Tony, in all likelihood, will be back at the plate into Game 6. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, that's what he told us up in Seattle. I said, are you catching Dennis? He said, yep, it's catcher's appreciation night. My turn.
That's hit down the line, and it is a fair ball landing on the line. Kirby tracks it down, has a little problem with it, but McGriff is just content to stop at second with a double.
Well, you mentioned the 3 innings that Mesa pitched just 3 nights ago, actually make it 2 nights ago. On Tuesday, Chipper Jones hits the ball hard, and you don't see too many 90-mile-per-hour fastballs up in the upper 90s pulled and jerked. I mean, McGriff's got a great and a very quick bat.
The kid almost made the play on a ball that was fair. Now Justice 0 for 3 tonight.
All the Braves are hoping for now is to get Justice on any way to get Klesko up there. Keep in mind, no left-handed batter has homered off Mesa this year. None.
Klesko on deck would come up as the tying run if Justice reaches, and Klesko has homered in each of the last 2 games.
Now, and Bobby Cox asking me before the game, he said, don't you get stiffer the second day after you pitch 3 innings? Mesa hadn't pitched that long all year.
course, he's a reliever and used to getting up on a daily basis, more or less. Isn't that right? What do you think?
We're not used to pitching and throwing 51 pitches. That's the difference, I think.
You know what I think about the World Series? You don't get sore and you don't get tired, period.
Hit to the right side, scooped up by Baerga. 2 down, McGriff goes to third, and Klesko comes up.
Sleep in November.
Well, that's what they used to say. You got plenty of time to rest all winter.
In the air to left field, and foul. 0-1. Klesko breaking his back.
Yeah, you got to hope that his left thumb is all right. Take another look at Hershiser.
Well, in Georgia, they love the Bulldogs, but not that Bulldog. Oh, 2. To right field and deep, and it is gone. 1 strike away. Klesko hits 1 out.
On the heels of us just saying that Mesa had not given up a home run to a left-handed batter all year long. Brother.
Well, we saw last night, Timmy, that Bobby Cox had to come out and get his ace bowlers. Mike Hargrove on the way. I mean, your best fastball against a great fastball hitter, and Klesko wins.
Well, what a series he's having. 3rd home run in 3 nights.
And a great overall postseason for Ryan. It is 5-4, so the difference right now is Tomei's home run, and they're going to wring every last ounce of emotion out of this crowd tonight. 5-4 with 2 out of the ninth.
Herbert Perry asking the bench if he should guard the line against Lemke. He was too shallow. They moved him back. I don't think Lemke's going to pull a ball down the line off Jose Mesa.
Wouldn't think so.
I think he's more apt to hit the ball down the 3rd base line than he is the 1st base line. And Tomei's off the line at 3rd.
One and one.
Yeah, normally, Timmy, we talk about it all the time. This is a guy you play pretty shallow, but with a 1-run lead and 2 outs, you don't want to be too shallow. The last thing you want is a double over your head or up the gap.
Again, the Indians get to within a strike. 1 and 2. Back to Georgia. Bulldog. In conjunction with this program, Chevy contributes $50,000 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America in the names of all players of the game for the season. Orel Hershiser, Jim Thome, Albert Bell, and all the rest going back to Atlanta for a Game 6. And we're back in a moment.
It's primal. It's wild.
Alrighty then.
It's savage.
I must apologize.
It's uncivilized.
Nobody wants to play with me.
It's Jim Carrey. Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls.
Say uncle! Say uncle!
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, November 10th.
Oral-B decided the best way to get rid of plaque would be to build a better toothbrush, the Advantage. Its power tip really gets behind your back teeth, and its action cup is great at removing plaque along the gum line. It's the best toothbrush ever from Oral-B.
Gillette's revolutionary clear gel antiperspirant. Not a stick, a soft gel that goes through underarm hair to the skin surface where wetness begins. For powerful protection, Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant.
Saturday, Jeff's a kid when it comes to Halloween.
E pluribus unum, which where I come from means I'm not wearing any drawers.
It's a frightfully funny Foxworthy. Then, Cloris Leachman guest stars as the eccentric relative from hell.
I feel a little threatened by the closeness you two share.
Maybe this time. And Disney Films presents Bette Midler in a Halloween tale of 3 wacky witches from Salem, and they're running amok. Hocus Pocus. It's an all-new Saturday.
Goodyear Blimp Spirit of Akron needs no helium right now. It just floats on the emotion emanating from this ballpark as their Indians have won it 5-4 to extend the World Series. And we get a word from John Saunders. John?
All right, Al, thanks a lot. I'm with Jim Thome, the hitting hero, and Orel Hershiser, the pitching hero. You know, they're calling you the ace of hearts upstairs, our boys are. And it looks that way. As much as you pitch with your arm and with your head, it's coming from inside as well.
Well, it was just an unbelievable game. You know, the emotions, they're starting to come out now, but I've had to keep them in check all day and all night. And after the poor performance in Game 1, I really wanted to make up bad, and fortunately, it worked out.
You mentioned the emotions after you turned the double play on Marquise Grissom's liner right back in your glove. You really were fired up.
Well, you know, I felt like, you know, Grover let me go back out there. I was feeling good, and I kind of let him down, letting that first guy get a hit, and then all of a sudden I get that liner and get the big defensive play. I blew it defensively earlier in the game, and I was like yelling at myself like, you know, finally you can make a play.
They come up with the big win. Orel Hershiser was the pitching hero. Jim Thome, the guys were also talking about that with 2 strikes, you're cutting down on your swing. You did that the first time you drove in a run, but I don't think you cut down on the last time.
Well, I think in that situation off Clance, I was looking for a ball to drive, and he kept coming in with fastballs, and I was fortunate that I got the head out. And, I mean, it worked out. It worked out good.
You guys have to feel that right now the momentum has shifted your way, even though you're still down again.
Well, I think so. I think it's like when we play here, it's that never say die attitude. And we've done a lot of magical things here this year, and hopefully we can take it to Atlanta and continue it going.
All right, Jim Thome and Orel Hershiser, the heroes of the game. We'll see them in game number 6 and perhaps in game number 7. Right now, let's join Leslie Visser.
John, I'm with a disappointed Ryan Klesko. Ryan, a 2-run homer, which was great, but where did this game get away?
Got away. They went ahead on us early, and it's one of those things where we tried to come back, but unfortunately we didn't. We're going back home, and we're ready to go. We're going to be ready to go at home, and we got Glavine pitching, and he threw great last game, so we're ready to go next game.
So uncharacteristic tonight of Greg Maddux.
Yeah, he gave up some hits, and you know, it's just that they hit the ball good. You got to give them credit tonight. You know, they capitalized on every mistake he made.
Well, thanks a lot for joining us. Appreciate it. Back to you, Al.
Okay, Leslie. So the 6th game on NBC on Saturday. We would have a 7th game here on ABC if it goes to 7 in Atlanta. To the strains of Glory Days, Springsteen's Glory Days. It's a glory night in Cleveland. Their Indians win it by a score of 5-4. Braves lead the series 3-2. Tonight's game brought to you by Lexus Luxury Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines, and Budweiser, the gold medal winning American Premium Lager at the 1995 Great American Beer Festival. This Bud's for you. Al Michaels, Jim Palmer, Tim McCarver, Leslie Visser, John Saunders saying good night from Jacobs Field in Cleveland.
Saturday on ABC Sports, golf's big winners tee it up in their season's grand finale, the Tour Championship. And on ABC's college football, Nebraska tackles Colorado, Florida invades Georgia, or other regional games from the Pac-10 and Big Ten. Now stay tuned for ABC News Nightline, following your late local news over most of these ABC stations. You're watching ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.